correct?
Yes.
It's not your
That's
fault.
true.
You're just a really good cook and you love taking care of people. So that's wonderful. I'm very glad.
Yes.
Keep that up. Wait, what?
Okay. Okay.
Good. And are you a really good cook? I bet you're one of those people who can cook and bake, right? You are.
Yes.
I can only bake. Anything I try to cook, if it's like a dinner, it comes out tasting like rubber, but I can make cakes that will make you sing with joy. But you can do both. So right now, be gentle with yourself. This card.
Not cakes. Not cakes. I don't. I can't bake cakes. No.
Okay.
So you win that.
Good. Thank you. I needed that. Oh, by the way, if you like this piece I'm wearing, let me know on Facebook and I'll send it to you for free because you've had a really sucky time and I'd like to just give you something. I make this stuff. So let me know if you like it and I'll send it to you. Okay. You're welcome. Take me up on that.
Sure.
I love going to the post office for some reason. Okay, so this is where you are right now. I don't know if you're listening or if you're watching. If you're watching, you can see this is not a fun card. It's a card of sorrow and almost despair. However, when this card appears, it means that you're starting to come back to yourself a lot. That the worst of this is passing, and it's a wonderful card in terms of like it's going away. All this stuff is going away.
Okay.
I get your father, by the way, is very much with you, as is your son. And boy, your son is really handsome.
Oh. Yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah, he's real. I can see him. Do you mind if I ask how old he was?
He was 43.
Oh, wow. You sound younger than that.
He didn't look 43.
Oh.
Yes, he looks much younger than that. That's right.
He's got beautiful cheekbones. And he's got this gorgeous skin tone. And he's got beautiful eyes. He loves you so much. And does he have two siblings?
Yes, you mean, yes, he had a sister. I have a younger daughter. Yes.
So there were two siblings. He wants you to tell your daughter that, first of all, he's sorry he hit her over the head with a block when they were about 3 and 5. But I think he was a little bossy as a little boy. He's just lovely. Yes. Yeah, I think he pushed her. He's got kind of a king energy to me. So, Angela in Brooklyn, I'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Yeah, he's got kind of a royal energy to me. Your son, he's got this lovely kind of regal, dignified, but guys like that when they're little boys can be very bossy because they know they're king. He's adorable. He's with you all the time. So is your husband still around?
Okay. Sorry?
Yeah, and is your husband still around?
Yes, he is.
Yes, I just held up the card about him. He's a lovely guy. And, men don't talk about their emotions. They don't say anything and then just walk in front of a truck. So give him lots of hugs and get lots of, they just don't. Men don't talk about their emotions, even when you use an electric cattle prod. But enough about my personal life. I'm going to have to take the next caller in a minute, but I'd like you to get in touch with me because if somebody loses a child, I give them a free 15-minute reading, or however long they need. I do mediumship work, so it's something I like to do. Angela in Brooklyn, don't go away. I'd like to spend another couple of minutes with Nilufer because you and I are going to have a good time too, but I'm having a really good time with her. Okay. So one last thing, Nilufer. I think you've lost the ability to dream recently because it's just been, you are so strong. So what this card is about, Pisces. Was your son a Pisces? No.
My son was a Pisces. No, my daughter's a Pisces. My son was Aquarius.
Sorry, wrong kid.
Yeah.
So, And you're a Gemini, so you're everything. I do love Geminis. The Pisces card says to start to get back in touch with your dreams. Start getting back in touch with, start thinking about what makes you happy or what you'd like to do. Because I think when we go through a very hard time, our dreams get taken away from us. And so it's time for you to start.
I was just telling that to my daughter today, that I'm wondering why I can't dream, So she said it's because of the grief, probably. So you're so right. Wow.
After I lost my mother, I didn't dream for a few months. And then suddenly when I dreamed, she was always there. But when somebody who's passed comes to us in dreams, it's not a dream, it's a visit. It really is. It's a visit. Just know that, because that's going to come in handy. You're going to start dreaming again soon, so don't worry about that. But I have such respect and admiration for the strength and grace with which you're handling this. So you're my new hero, Niloufer. I think you're great. All right, and get in touch with me, and I'll send you this and give you a free reading.
I will. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. I get the best people. The show is like, it's so amazing, the people I get. And that includes you, Angela, in Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn, you still there, Angela? Yes. Where in Brooklyn are you?
Yes, near Bensonhurst.
Awesome. I'm over sort of in the, like around Atlantic Avenue, sort of Brooklyn Heights-ish, sort of downtown-ish. But I love Brooklyn.
Well, I'm more towards, I've only been here around 60 years, so.
Well, welcome. We'll send the welcome wagon over. It's usually got a mafioso, a big thing of pizza, and I'll be sitting in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Angela. So I'm happy you're with us.
How are you?
I'm great. It's great to hear your voice. How are you?
Good. Going through crazy time, of course.
Yeah, you are. Tell me your birthday, my love. I'm going to grab my drink. When's your birthday? That's what I connect to people. What is it?
July 3rd, 51.
Oh, you're a Cancer. Yay! I'm a Pisces. We love you guys. So you can be tough on the outside, but you're such a sensitive marshmallow on the inside. My little duckling. Oh, my. You have been going through the ringer, honey. What the heck?
I know. I want to know if it's going to get better. I'm trying just to get everything together. It seems like I make it worse.
You know what? Here's the thing. Stop trying. Because you take so much responsibility for you carry the world on your shoulders, my darling, which is a wonderful quality. You're over responsible, and most people aren't responsible at all. So bless you, bless you, bless you. But you try to take care of everybody. How many kids do you have? You have 3?
Well, I have a stepson and 2 grandchildren.
You have what? I'm sorry.
A stepson and 2 grandchildren.
Oh, okay. I was seeing 3 kids around you, so I wasn't sure what that was. Yeah. You try to make everybody happy. You do it. You make everybody. But you don't make you happy because you're so busy taking care of everybody else. So let me pull some cards for you. Hold on.
Okay.
And things, I can tell you, within 2 weeks, things are about to get a lot better. But it feels like, kind of like, as a metaphor, it feels like you accidentally lit a match in a fireworks factory. I don't know what just happened, but everything went. Is that right?
It's everything, the house. I don't know if I should downsize financially, and everything is just a mess. And with my, my family and my grandchildren, I don't really see them that much. It's like everything is just gonna run away.
Oh, you want to go to Bali? I feel like running away to Bali. Pack a bag.
I'll go anywhere.
However,
I'll go anywhere.
One really nice thing. I didn't make this card appear. I put my hand in the bag, and this is what came up for you. It's the Sun card. What the Sun card means is that things are going to get miraculously better without you knowing how.
What? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Things are going to get miraculously better without you really knowing how. The Sun card actually means that there's a really nice time coming up for you. I know you don't believe it, because everything's
Well,
just gone kablooey. But
yeah.
believe it. The next thing that comes up is a reconciliation with grandchildren. This is a child card, and this is a happy, loving child card. And not that they're child children, but that situation looks like it's going to work itself out much sooner than you know, much sooner. But right now, it's a hard card. It's a transparent card. My friend Emily does them. It's a 10 of wands. And normally it's the card of a guy carrying 10 sticks in his back, and he's bent all the way over. And it's a card of just feeling so overwhelmed and oppressed and kind of lost. But whenever that card appears, I will tell you this for free, my darling. Well, of course it's for free, but I've been getting this card a lot lately too, because I was feeling like, there's no other way to put it. And I think that's how you're feeling.
Oh yeah. The house.
Whenever this card comes up, it means the worst has passed. This is as bad as it gets. It's only uphill from here. This, I promise. So what I'd like you to do for the next 5 days, I'm going to give you an assignment, okay? Be really nice to yourself. Take an hour off even if people need you. We're from Brooklyn. We can say, sod that. Well, we don't say sod that. We say something else, but I'm not allowed to say it on TV. And go get a mani-pedi. Or go to one of those little like Korean places. I mean that in a very nice way, but ones I go to are run by nice Korean people that do like $30 massages for an hour, and just massages. I mean, they're legit. Go buy yourself some pretty lipstick. I think you're a very pretty girl. And I think that you love lipstick. I know you love lipstick, and you love pretty colors. So your assignment today is you got to do one thing a day for the next 5 days, starting tomorrow. You're either buying yourself lipstick, you're getting a mani-pedi, because you're a real girl's girl, aren't you?
Not really. I mean, I don't really like to get.
Well, that's okay. You can use a little
anything.
pampering anyway.
Yeah.
I just see you as being beautiful, so I just assumed that. But do something to pamper yourself. So, what's one thing you can do to pamper yourself this week? Tell me.
No, just not trying to like. I do a lot of exercising and walking.
Oh,
and
good.
I get my nails done and stuff, but I do things like that. I try to take care of myself that way, but it doesn't relieve any of the stuff that's in my head.
Okay, in that case.
And I know my husband is always with me. Though he's been gone a while, he's still always with me.
Yes, he is always with you. In that case, there's a really good meditation app called Calm, CALM. And it's for people who do not take naturally to meditation, which I don't think you do. I would get that app and do some of the meditations. They really help, because I'm wired all the time. And it's very hard for me to meditate. And I use this app and I'm like, oh, what is this feeling? Could it be relaxation? But I'm also going to tell you that in your life, all that stuff is going to stop. It's going to start calming down, like, so to speak, starting in the next week. Within 2 weeks, things will be noticeably better. That's what the cards tell me. That's what my psychic self tells me. And also, I think you're going to reunite with a long lost friend or an old friend you haven't seen for a while. And that's going to be really nice. Let yourself, and you can also, because you take care of everybody. Am I right? Do you take care of everybody?
Yeah,
I know you do.
I try.
Yeah. No, you succeed. Sometimes it's nice to give our friends the gift of trusting them and saying, hey, you know what? Could you come over and just talk to me? Or can we go out for coffee? Or will you take me to a movie? I'm a little blue and I could use a hug from somebody special, which is you. Let yourself reach out a bit this week, because I don't think you do that very often because you're so busy taking care of
help. I don't ask for help. I don't.
No, I know.
I
That's
never
why
ask for help.
I know. So it might be time to change that. You don't have to ask for help. I don't want you to just feel like you're sounding pathetic. It's not like you're, help me. But if you call, sometimes it's really nice to give our friends the gift of letting them know we trust them and letting them support us. Because friendship has to be two-way highway. Not that I don't drive, but that's what I've heard.
I don't drive either.
Well, yeah, we're New Yorkers. I don't know any New Yorkers. I was married for 15 years to a New Yorker who didn't drive. Courtney Love doesn't drive. I don't know any New Yorkers who drive.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to. We've got really good, we're supposed to walk or take
That's
Ubers.
what I do all the time, walk. I'm a big walker.
Yeah. That's a really good thing for you to do, too. I love that moment in New York City, you know, the golden hour, like at twilight when everything turns golden. I love walking around Brooklyn then.
It's
you're going to be okay. What's that, Mela?
I'm really going to be okay. It's not going to feel like I'm not exploding anymore.
Yeah. Try the Calm app. Walk. I'm going to quickly teach you a breath. Hey, I've been profiled by the New Yorker. I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to teach you a breath really quickly. I want you to breathe in really deeply. And when you breathe out like you're blowing out a birthday candle, like that. What that does is it stimulates what's called the vagus nerve. Not the vagus nerve, that's a different nerve, but the vagus nerve. So you want to Google ways to stimulate the vagus nerve because that calms down our central nervous system. And you're just going on all cylinders. I promise you, within 2 weeks, things will be better. God is my witness, and as 12 years as a Girl Scout.
Okay. Thank you.
Now you know my deepest secret, Angela. I'm such a square. I'm so glad you called. I hope you call back sometime. I really like you.
Yes,
and you're really valuable.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
have a good night.
Take care, my love. Okay. People love you. All right, take care. And I'm Perry Lyons. That was Angela. And before that, that was Nilufer. What are the great names? And I'm every night, not every night, that'd be exhausting. 9 p.m. Wednesdays, Moonstruck TV. Come find me again. And I love you. You're wonderful. That color looks great on you.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome.
Time for Jacqueline Close-More Live with Jacqueline Close-More. Jacqueline Close-More. Live from jacqueline.com.au.
Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio.
Or one of our websites.
ask1radio.com or moonstruck.tv.
This is Jacqueline Closemore
On
Live.
A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Jacqueline Closemore and you're on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV. Coming to you live from my office in Melbourne. I've done a bit of refurbing. I've brought my painting in. Some of my books are here. There's more to arrive. There's actually a suitcase over here of just lots of books. It was very heavy. I had to push it down the street with great emphasis and manual labour, which is okay. I mean, but I'm not sure that I would have gotten that into a 20-kilo bag at the airport. Let's just put it that way. Would have set a few sensors off, including the back tail light of the car. But anyhow, where have I been? All right, well, where haven't I been? I've been moving my son to the country. He's got a job out there. I'm enjoying being able to go back and have a restful weekend away from the noise, out in the WOPs, as they call it in New Zealand, or in Australia, the outback. Well, we don't really use that word much here. It's just people like to think we use that word. It's a bit like other things about other countries versus Australia and why we're called the lucky country and down under, but I'll leave that for another time and your imagination probably. But yeah, so let's talk today about if you're wanting a reading on my show on this station, it's probably best to inbox me on Facebook under Jacqueline Closemore Live, or go onto jacqueline.com.au and just click on the radio show part and or just send an email through there. Just because I have sound issues from my end with taking your calls, but more than happy to respond to emails and do a reading that way over the air, read them out. Also, if there's topics and areas you want me to cover, happy to do that. But today, just wanting to talk about, like, how do you know where you're meant to be in 2023? Yeah, like where's your intention at? What's it doing? It's a 7-year, it's a year of the rabbit. It's a time that can be kind of like go, 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 stop. And sort of this time of at times wanting to hibernate or, not necessarily be out amongst people, and then also yet wanting to spend time with family and these sorts of things. So, I think it's just really good to start the year by setting your intention. Sometimes people just don't have a plan. And I remember the old saying of failing to have a plan is planning to fail and all this sort of thing. And I don't know, I mean, some people can get through life fairly intuitively without a damn clue, can't they? And they just have all the luck in the world. And then you get these people who have to strive for every little bit and they go, why is that person having such a good time? And it's like, well, they might be very lucky. And yes, that could be annoying to you who doesn't seem to have that much luck, but we can make our own luck through our decisions. And, we can also make good luck or bad luck, if you want to call it bad luck. I was recently asked by a client, they said that they felt they were cursed, and complex area. It's very rare, actually, that real curses are happening with clients. I mean, out of the clients who might tell me that they're cursed, I feel like maybe 80, 90% are not so much cursed as they are, like by someone else, as they are by their own attitudes. And that's saying that, I do understand completely that people can send you negative vibes, yeah? You can kind of also have a street with the worst feng shui, like just really disgusting. You might even have, I don't know, poltergeists walking through the house and rearranging your furniture. I mean, that's not going to be pleasant, fair enough. But when people talk about feeling like they're cursed and that this has been carried down through generations and all that sort of thing, it's a curse. If someone's trying to send negative juju your way, it's much easier for them to achieve that and have their desired result if they're trying to cause harm to you, if you're buying into it. So if you're kind of approaching it with a loving energy of, that doesn't mean I love this person who's sending me a curse. I mean, I actually do that kind of for humorous reasons, but I'm a bit subversive spiritually, right? maybe you don't want to send love to that person because you're probably not going to feel like you love them, and it's going to come off a bit weird. But in my weird humour, I can get away with doing that and has really positive effects. But I think the first thing is not to buy into the fear. The second thing is to look at what you can do to unhook any connection with them. So is there some part of you that's also annoyed by them that you're going, I really don't like them either? You know, and I'm feeding that vibe with my anger or my fear and anger. Let's unhook that. Let's detach that. Maybe that anger is quite righteous in a way. I mean, we can have righteous anger. That's okay. But what do we do with it? You know, it's what we do that may or may not be the right thing. It's okay to be upset or angry or fearful, but what are we now going to do with that? Are we going to sit in that fear, build the fear further, get angrier, start a tit for tat battle, like the pendulum swinging back and you're throwing it at each other, which only makes it swing more, by the way? Or are we going to sit back? And I really think in 2023, it's just a really good thing not to react, but to pause and then respond. You know, like, what do we really want to do with this energy? So, for example, if someone sent me some bad juju, I just go, thanks for that. Look at that energy coming my way. You've put so much thought into that. I mean, obviously it's angry thought. Sorry for peeing you off that much, but clearly I've done something to annoy you, or maybe you're just constipated. I'm not sure, but thanks, right? Put a lot of energy into that. So here it comes, all right, feeling that. And then I'm going to transform that energy, turning it into like a ball. I'm just going to mold it round, yeah? And I'm going to take it from a negative energy to saying to the energy, thank you for coming. I know you were sent by Bob, Adam, I don't know, Georgina, whatever. Sorry if any of you called that and watching me and have no ill will, but anyway. So here's this energy, right? I'm going, look at you. All right, well, I'm going to change your intent. I'm going to change your intent from what they sent it in and circulate it around and change the intent. Say, thank you for sending that energy, Bob, Georgina, Adam, whoever, I don't know, Rumpelstiltskin. Thank you for sending that, putting all that thought into me. I'm now transforming this energy into love. Lashings and lashings, perhaps. Love comes in many forms, doesn't it? So I'm going to turn that into love. I'm going to just, it's a bit like, you imagine, an air conditioner, right? It's like sucks in all the hot air and then it brings out the cold air, and then round the back it sends that hot air out. It's a bit like people who are upset for the wrong reasons of maybe having hot air themselves. So, you're sending that out and you're changing it, you're transforming it. So now we've got the cool air happening, which is ideal if it's summer. If it's winter, we might want to change that to the heater that draws in the cold, turns it into warmth. But so you can transform this energy. You don't have to sit with that energy remaining as it is. You can even set up a lodestone. And that's where you go and ask a stone. I know it sounds completely bonkers, but then a lot of spiritual stuff is kind of intangible, isn't it? But let's just play along with this, right? So you get a lodestone, you make sure this is the right one for you, and you just put it on top of 2 twigs or 2 pens so that the air can circulate all around it, underneath and through. And you turn that into your air conditioner, only your energy conditioner. So the crap energy that's sent to you is then directed to the lodestone instead of you. That energy that's being sent to you goes whirring around in there, maybe compresses as it's clearing, until you, completely forgotten this, feeling nice and peaceful. Then all of a sudden one day you're going, oh yeah, that's right, the lodestone. Oh, seems a bit full. All right, well, I might send that purified or clarified energy. I might send that out as loving, healing energy, to people in Turkey, for example, who've had a horrific, earthquake and all this sort of thing in Turkey and Syria. We might send healing to that. We might also send a donation because prayers alone, it's not enough, is it? So, we might do some physical activism for causes that are important. We might use some of that energy to help us to do that physical activism or that physical real world grounded help, but we're getting the energy to help sustain us to do that. If we use energy that's being sent to us for the good of other people, then we're using that overflow. We're not so much using our own energy. So it kind of insulates us against burning out in a way. So, you know, people wishing the worst for you can often contribute to the best of you, if you think about it. You know, there's many ways to counteract psychic attack or negative energy or people being awful. The most important thing is to not take it too seriously. I mean, yes, take your safety very seriously, but maybe laugh more. Maybe just go, yeah, look, I probably was an idiot and I probably upset them, and here's how I reckon that happened. Oops, here's my part in it. Maybe I'll change that part. And maybe, just maybe, they might change what's happening for them. They don't have to, because, you know, you can't necessarily change other people. We can change what we're doing. We can change our energy. That changes our dynamic. And then that can, in turn, change how people are responding to us. So we can go from feeling cursed to feeling pretty groovy. Hope that's helped you, giving you some ideas. I'm going to be back next week. And next week I'm going to be at Epping Psychic and Wellbeing Fair, 10 till 4 on Sunday, the 19th. In the meantime, see you next time. Lots of love to all of you. Have a great morning, afternoon or evening, no matter where you are in the world. More coming up after me on this channel. See you for now.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, enlightening television. Welcome.
Time for Sacred Insights with Andrea Bacon. Live from mindbodynourish.etsy.com.
Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio. Or one of our websites, askoneradio.com or moonstruck.tv.
This is Sacred Insight
on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sacred Insights. I'm Andrea Bacon. Thank you so much for joining me. It's great to be here again. So there's a lot of shift in the energy right now. Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and that's really making this lighter, less challenging energy in a lot of ways. So right now with this shift, it's a great time to be working on some big goals. And if you have been, putting in the effort, you're going to see the payoff for that. You may have been seeing some synchronistic events, like when you are thinking about someone or something and then it shows up in your reality, or you hear from that person you were just thinking about. It's like these coincidences. They're a co-creative process that the universe communicates to us with when we're on the right path. So normally it's something that is like surprising but exciting and meaningful to us as well that will show up. And if you have been experiencing it, you're asking yourself, what does this mean, to get information if you are curious, and then not forcing an answer, just letting it be, and the answer will come to you. And so I have pulled some cards about this, and ahead of time. And I've got confidence is key and prosperity lies ahead. So being confident that you are going to be able to make these changes is part of the process here. And we've got surrender to play. So lightening up, having fun, enjoying this process, being in a more lightness of being, lighthearted energy is definitely something that can help open the doors to these things as well. Okay. Don't get tempted to go back into conflict if that is something that you have been dealing with. Okay, because we've got the 5 of Wands and the Temptation card. So focus on, with the Star card, focus on the healing and the hope and the brightness and the lightness here for the future. Because we have a wish fulfillment with the 9 of Cups as well. There's a lot of working on emotions. If you still have stuck, stagnant emotions, this will also help free up energy. And you're leveling up here, or this energy is supportive of that anyway, if this is something that you're wanting to work on. So the Page of Wands to the King of Wands. So we've got the Wands, this fiery energy, passionate, creative energy. And the Page is speaking of a less mature and energy, and going into the King here. Okay, so we're leveling up into something that is more creative, and so that's something that you can think about. Okay, and now we have a caller, Sharon in the UK.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. So how can I help you?
Basically, I have a decision to make, and
Okay.
I'm not really sure what to do. Basically, what happened was in the past, in 2018, somebody sexually harassed me, and I didn't tell many people, but now I told one other person recently, and this was within a group of people with Sita Yoga, which we have in the UK, and I know you have it in America as well. And basically, somebody from the organisation has got in contact with me and said that she wants me to meet with her and to make a formal complaint. And I'm not sure whether I should. I mean, part of me thinks it's the best thing to do because it might stop this person doing it to other people, but part of me thinks that because it's in the past and that I should not.
Okay. Let me see what I can get on this subject.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. So, and I think, right, also focusing on, healing as well for you, regardless, is something that, you will be good for you to do, okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Because right now, the cards I'm pulling on this is you feeling, just like you were saying, stuck, not knowing, and not knowing what to do. So there's, so if you feeling like you have to defend yourself, okay, so if you do go ahead and report, got King of Swords, which is like boundaries, okay, and if you don't report, let's see. That was like a Ace of Swords in reverse. A lot of swords and Five of Pentacles in reverse.
Okay. So if I report, I need to be very boundaried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Because there is a way that I could report it and just say, I'm just going to give you the information. I'm going to give you the emails I've got that give some evidence to what happened. And that's all I'm prepared to do. I could just do that.
Absolutely.
And not meet with them. And yeah.
Yeah. And like, you know, don't go back and forth with if there's conflict, don't engage too much into that and allow it to drag you down. Just like you said, just the precise, information that happened and everything. And then I think there will be a quick resolution to it if you do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry you had to go through that. It's very stressful.
It was very stressful and it was very horrible at the time. So, yeah. Is there anything that you can see for me in terms of the future, the best possible direction in the future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do have good wish fulfillment, good things coming with this 10 of Cups. You absolutely have some, things that you're wanting, and some heart healing and focusing on self-love is going to be a key for you to be getting there, to having some good things happening for you. Kind of balancing out your energy with the feminine and the masculine. So the receiving and the giving energy, make sure that you're, receiving as much as you are giving. That's it balances your energy, and that you're not over giving so much that it's depleting you. It's coming through.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And let's see. There's, I don't know if you had a misunderstanding with a friend or somebody in your life.
Yes.
Okay. I am seeing some higher information coming to you to help clear that up. And this is, it feels like a healing on that as well. Something coming out to light that's going to help resolve that. And I see you in this beautiful energy, like a phoenix rising energy. And you're really going to become more empowered from all of this that you've gone through, is, something that is going to be to help you and to feel, stronger after having gone through everything. And you're going to really benefit from this. It's going to help you get out of your head as well.
Yes.
So you're not going around and around in your head about everything. And being mindful. I don't know, do you do meditation now? Because I feel like you kind of...
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, I feel like you're having even more now that you're standing up for yourself, this spiritual energy upgrade, so to speak. And there's a higher energy coming in for you, reclaiming your power.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And, being around the color green and out in the garden or traveling, if you're able to, it'll be really refreshing for you and good for you to do that.
I love the color green, and I love being in nature.
Oh, yeah, that's really healing for you. So just make sure to set boundaries with people. And I see this soul partner connection as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I see a lot of good things for you.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much.
Yeah, thank you. I really.
Is there anything on money at all? Is there anything you can see on money?
See, let me check real quick. Yes, I feel like the empowering energy that's coming in for you is going to bring in a brand new beginning that's going to help you move on to calmer waters and bring in a financial abundance. Absolutely.
Thank you.
But
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to have to leave it there. And this is coming to the end of the show. And I hope that helped you. Have a wonderful.
Very much. And thank you again.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. And that's going to do it for me. If you would like to check out my services, you can do it on my Etsy shop at mindbodynourish.etsy.com. And I offer readings, intuitive readings, mediumship, and some energy healing as well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, enlightening television. Welcome.
And now, Reverend Elliot's Magical Window with Reverend Elliot. Live from magic-works.com.
Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio. Or one of our websites, askoneradio.com or moonstruck.tv.
This is Reverend Elliot's Magical Window
on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Elliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you live tonight from the great city of New York, where we get together for an hour every Wednesday to listen to me look through the magical window for you. That is the tarot deck here. That's shuffling up the cards there. That's we're going to be looking through tonight to find out what's going on in our lives, what's going on around the corners of reality, what's coming up in the future, and what we can do about it. Now, that's something I used to talk about quite a lot, but I don't think I've mentioned it in a while, which is people want to know why you bother looking into the future. Because the future is not written in stone. The future now is not the same future as the future 5 minutes from now, because 5 minutes from now, you're a different person. Now, that is a very bizarre concept, but if you couldn't do anything about the future, then there'd be no point in looking at it. And yet we can look at it through the tarot cards, and we can see what the influences are. If we can't necessarily see the outcome, but we can see what the outcome will be now. Once you have that information, you've changed. You're a different person. Your attitudes would be changed. You may not even be aware of it, and that future may no longer exist. It may exist somewhere else, but it's not going to happen to you. So if you, for instance, see that, well, I'll give you a perfect example. At the end of 2019, and by the way, my nose is still horrifically clogged up, so I sound like I've got a cold, I know, but I don't. It's just dry air here. At the end of 2019, you can go back to the archives at askoneradio.com and listen to some of the programming from, say, September, October, November, December, meaning the end of 2019. And you will hear that many of my readings, people got cards that indicated the end of one chapter in life and the beginning of another. A lot of that, an awful lot of that, to the point where I had to draw the assumption that something very strange was going to happen that was going to change everybody's life. And of course, by March of 2020, February of 2020, we were warned about that in the then president's State of the Union address. He mentioned a virus from China that nobody paid much attention to. And then in March, people started paying attention to it. By April, it was all over the place. April 2020, I was sick with this thing, and that knocked me out for a while. But everything got shut down, as you know, and I'm not going to go into the any political delving into was it right, was it wrong. The answers to that are quite apparent right now. But at the time, let's face it, this was a virus that nobody had ever contracted before. And I'm going to say this without any conspiratorial intent, but the only people who had gotten sick with this virus were in a laboratory in China. They, at the end of 2019, they found these workers were getting sick with a kind of a flu-like thing, and that's why it's called COVID-19. Not because there was a COVID 1 through 18, coronavirus disease 19, because it was discovered in 2019, and that's how they discovered it. And by the time, wherever it came from, the point was that nobody knew what to do about it because nobody had antibodies to it. Nobody had been exposed to it. So, you know, some people acted out of an abundance of caution, maybe overreacted. You know, better safe than sorry, would you say? I don't hold that against anybody, but the fact of the matter was this stuff is going on now. To this day, there are people who are still reluctant to let go of all of these restrictions. And the businesses were shut down. People were locked down. Livelihoods were ruined. It really was a time of new beginnings, you know, because there were endings. And if you're lucky enough, when part of your life ends, another part begins. And that doesn't work that way for everybody. There are some people who can't do that. There's some people who just can't handle it. Change, there's no such thing as good or bad change in that sense. For years, I've been telling people there's these things called psychological stress units, which scientists use to measure the effect of change in people's lives. And for instance, the units of psychological stress you endure for getting a divorce are the same. It's the same amount as getting married. So you see, the stressor doesn't, you can ignore the stressor and just realize that there's stress. And a lot of people aren't made to handle stress. There's some people who thrive on it. In fact, I think we all know people who create stress all the time. It's highly addictive, stress, because of the chemicals that your body releases under stress. And to throw an entire population into a state of panic and stress is a very irresponsible thing to do if you don't have, let's say, an overriding reason to do it and do it temporarily. Because, for instance, I'll give you the Cold War as an example. The people who were in power spent years getting people terrified of the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union could barely make enough toilets for their own population, and they were terrified. I go into this in my book. Reverend Elliott explains it all, because it almost destroyed the presidency of President Eisenhower when the Soviet Union put Sputnik, the first man-made satellite, into orbit. People here were going berserk, because they felt that the evil people over there were going to control the world from outer space. Well, of course, the president, Eisenhower, didn't really react to it at all, because he knew what all presidents at the time knew, was that that was a practically bankrupt country, and the money that it took them to put that thing up into space and the resources it took to do that was about all they had. So he didn't react in terror and panic. But to this day, I mean, there are still people to this day who are terrified of the Soviet Union, and there is no Soviet Union. So you got to be very careful when you scare people. And sometimes you do want to scare people enough to shock them into action, maybe. But when you go too far, that's terrorizing people. And there are still some unfortunate people who live in a state of terror when exactly what scientists said in 2019 was going to happen with this virus has happened. which is that it will mutate to a highly contagious but very mild form. That's what they do. That's how viruses mutate. There is no fear that it was going to mutate into something that eats your body and leaves you in a pool as a sludge of gray matter. No, it doesn't work that way. Viruses, to survive, they said in about 3 years, they said this at the end of 2019, in about 3 years, we'll have variants of this virus that are highly contagious. Everybody will catch it, and it'll be like maybe a cold. And that's it. And that's where we've been. But there are people now. For instance, New York State just lifted the mask mandate under many circumstances. And there are people in the street demonstrating against that, screaming, "You're going to kill us." Now, I'm not going into the science of this or that because it's not worth discussing. It's like arguing religion at this point in time. But I just want to make the point that the tarot cards showed me in 2019 that something life-changing was coming, and that's what it's done. And look, and I'm using these examples not to put people down, but to just say this is how they've changed their lives. Their lives have been changed, and I could see that for almost anybody I read here on Ask One Radio and people I read for privately, was that there's going to be big changes. Some people took advantage of that to change themselves for what they perceived as the better, see, and other people, well, here in New York, there was an increase in the number of people who killed themselves during the whole lockdown phase. It was just awful. And the only reason we know about that is that people in the neighborhoods where it happened reported on it, but media people were told not to cover. Now, I'm a person who's got media contacts. I've been in news media for years. In fact, I'm one of the people whose businesses was shut down and destroyed by the lockdowns. My wife and I ran a newspaper for 20-odd years. And that was contingent upon people going out and getting the newspaper. And everyone was locked down, you see, and all the advertisers were locked down, and everyone was put out of business. So it was time to change. So we changed. And that's what if you can see, I'm taking the scenic route here, right? But the point was, if you can look in a deck of cards, tarot cards, and you can see that there's a period of change and transition coming in your life, maybe you can have a little bit of an advantage there without having it forced on you if you know it's coming. So you can have it go the way you want it to go, at least as much as you can control. We don't really control that much as we think we do in our lives, which is the way it goes. I mean, I love it here when people refer to, well, you got to control your own destiny. You can't do that. It's not your destiny then if you can control it, you see. But do you believe in destiny? Do you believe in the appointment in Samara? Do you believe that everything that is going to happen has already happened and we can't do anything about it? If so, then what's the point of any of this? But I don't believe that. I do think that we create reality as we go along. Now that will require a couple hours of speaking, and maybe we can do, I keep threatening to do webinars, but maybe that would be a good one to do, which is, what is the point of magical work if everything is preordained? Because there are people who believe that everything happens all at once. There was the Big Bang and it all happened simultaneously, and we're just watching it unfold now. Time is just the way we make sense of everything. Personally, I think time is just the way we develop time so that we don't miss lunch. That's neither here nor there. But you see, that's why we look at the future. That's why we want to see what's coming up. I have had a few little health problems, nothing major. Mostly it's just seeing annoying doctors. I think there's doctors out there who are trying to plan the size of the yacht they're going to buy from seeing me. But they are helping me, and I just, if I've fallen behind in some of my readings for people, I know that people have called me and reached out to me for readings, and they've been very patient and very understanding when I explain I'm going through this medical lunacy, and I just want to get it out of the way, and then we'll go back to some more readings. But it's clearing up, so if you do want to get in touch with me off the air for a reading, my readings start at $10. You can find out more about the readings by going to magic-works.com, magick-works.com. You can tool around there, look at a whole bunch of stuff at that website, but the information about readings is at the home page, so you'll see it right away. And I'll be more than happy to make arrangements with you to do a reading with you. And I know that a lot of people aren't going to get through tonight, especially if I keep babbling like this. Nobody will get through tonight. But I know that it's also inhibiting for a lot of people to talk in front of a few million people around the world. There, did I just lose some people now because I said that? But so my hat's off to you, just for calling and talking publicly on S1 Radio. That's good for you. You got guts, because someday I'll tell you the story about how I became a public speaker and how terrified I was of the whole thing. And I'll tell you the worst thing that ever happened to me while I was a public speaker. But we'll save that for another time, because that's about me and this show is about you. So why don't we do this? Why don't we ring a bell 3 times to declare sacred space and pull back the magical curtain on the magical window for Mylin in Richmond, British Columbia. Hi, you're on with Reverend Elliot.
Yes, thank you so much for taking my call.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm glad you could get in tonight. What can I look at for you?
I just wanted some advice on a career.
Okay.
For a career.
Well, I'll shuffle up the cards and see what I get. If it's about career and money, we should be getting some very clear evidence of that. Well, there we are. There's the 2 of rods. The rods are career. That's about waiting for something to happen. Like you've done the work you need to do to prepare for something, and you're just waiting for it to bear fruit. Now, the next card is interesting, because whatever the situation is now, it's going to change. Because that's the Wheel of Fortune. That means the situation is going to change. It's going to change rather radically, in fact, because the next card is the Tower struck by lightning. So that means a sudden, unexpected change. What comes after that is fascinating. What comes after that is a possibility of new work in career, which is the Knight of Rods. Knights are new beginnings, as opposed to old beginnings, right? Knights are beginnings. And then there's the 6 of Coins, which is about a potential income stream and money coming your way. And emotional happiness is there. That's the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Rods is here. That means you're ready for what's coming. You're prepared. So you've been waiting. You're waiting for something to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen fairly soon, and it's going to come out of the blue. Something unexpected is coming that's going to result in an opportunity for something new in terms of work and career. There'll be a good offer of money with that, and you will be very satisfied with it. And you're prepared for it is the main thing. That's also like the 2 of Rods indicates a person who has done the work and is waiting for the results. The 9 of Rods is the person who is completely prepared, who's been around. That person sometimes on some decks has a bandage on her head, meaning you've been through the battles of life and you're still here and you've succeeded. So yeah, I'm seeing good things coming your way in terms of work. The situation that you're in now will change, and it'll change for the better.
Okay, so is there like a timeline that you can see?
Well, it's in the works now. And I'm making that judgment because the Wheel of Fortune is here, which is about change, and the Tower struck by lightning is here. And the 2 of those both indicate change, and together it shows that it's going to happen really fast. So it's coming soon. But the main thing is you're prepared for it. Here's a Page of Rods. Again, that's the pages are beginnings also, but the real appearance of it. I mean, the Knight in the court cards is the theoretical appearance of something. The page is the physical reality of it being there. So yeah, you're definitely going to get an offer of some sort or create one yourself, but there's going to be a new career line opening up for you, and it will be very good for you. You'll be happy at it too. It's going to be emotionally fulfilling and financially fulfilling too. Okay.
Oh, wow. Sounds amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. You're headed for a good time. Thanks for calling. Bye-bye now.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
I sound like that kid in the fourth grade who always had a cold and had to blow his nose. It's so funny because I'm sure that given, as we were talking about, everybody is health conscious, or rather disease conscious. I sound like I'm sick, but I'm not. I checked with the physicians and they assure me it's dry air. See what I mean? It's a hard time breathing, so I'll be taking some decongestant later. And by the way, speaking of the air, I would like you to join me in this. I'm going to do this after the show, and maybe you'll do this too at some point in the next few days. We all need to send some positive energy out to the people in East Palestine, Ohio, where they are going through a living hell, and they are really scared, and they don't know if their town is going to be evacuated like Chernobyl, because of the train wreck that was pretty much like what was that? About 12 days ago it happened. It was pretty much ignored, but it left a toxic cloud, which is at the moment reportedly killing pets, fish, livestock. And these people are scared, and rightly so. So I am going to be lighting a white candle later on to focus on sending positive energy to those folks out there. It'd be great if you could do it too, if we could all do it together. Now, this is not by any means a substitute for hazmat groups coming in and cleaning up. Let's be clear. But I'd like to give some sort of emotional, psychic support to these folks who are not doing well mentally and emotionally because they're scared, and they should be scared because it's scary. That's, I can't get any more clear than that, right? So we could do that. We could keep them in our thoughts, yes, but do something concrete. Like I am going to burn a white candle, and I'm going to send positive energy to all the folks out there who've been negatively affected by that train crash. Lord knows I'm not going to be able to do anything for the people positively affected by it, because I don't know if there are any such critters out there. But let's all get together and do that. There was a time a while back when I asked the audience here to do some positive energy work for a friend of mine who was going through some troubles. And she reported the most phenomenal feeling of energy and positivity that ever happened. And yeah, you guys came through and did a wonderful job. So let's see if we can all work on sending some positive energy to the people in Ohio whose future is in grave doubt right now. And they're just, eventually they will probably, we hope, get the physical help they need, but let's give them some spiritual support, okay? Carla in New Orleans is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, Carla. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. What can I look at for you?
Well, I was wondering if you could connect to my late husband and just let me know if you feel connected with him.
Okay, let's see. When I get requests for readings like this, there are certain cards I look for to indicate if I'm getting the message or not. So let's see what we get. And if I don't get one of those, well, that's pointless now because I just got one of the cards. I was going to say, if I don't get one of those cards, then we'll just try it again. The first card I have is the High Priestess, and that's one of the cards that's exactly what I was looking for. The High Priestess is the person who can see behind the veil being that separating this world and the next world. This is what's fascinating to me, is because I get this all the time when I do readings like this. And that is, the first card here is a card of sorrow and sadness. That's the Nine of Swords. That comes up almost every single time, indicating that I understand. It's as if the message is, I understand that this is painful for you. It's painful for me too. All the other cards are cards of health and healing and growth and happiness And the message is, I'm doing very well where I am. That spiritually I'm growing, because that's the sun. The sun is about healing and growth. The judgment card here, that shows, that's a reference to final judgment, and that shows a new life beginning. And then there's the Nine of Cups, which is about emotional satisfaction. So while it's very difficult, because there's the pain of loss, here it is again. It's the Three of Swords. That's a very sad card. There's always the sadness there in these readings. But the message I get is, I'm doing okay. Now, here's an interesting one. It's the Hermit card. And the Hermit is a card that shows a person who's watching over other people, has a lantern and guides people. I would say this is saying, I'm watching, I'm there, I can see. Okay?
Okay. Right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
The message that I'm getting through here is the sadness and the pain and loss and sorrow, and saying that, but spiritually I'm doing fine, and I'm watching. Okay.
Thank you. All right. You have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye now. Let's shuffle up the cards again. You know, you guys have been keeping me busy. I've been going back and forth to the post office, mailing books out to people. I like to see that, not just because I like selling things, which, don't get me wrong, it's fun to sell things, but I keep the prices as reasonable as possible. The book prices have been going up. They've gone up like 3 times. I mean, the cost for my making the books, but I try not to raise the prices. We've had postage increases. I try to keep the prices pretty reasonable. And I always let people know that you can get any books that I have for sale, with the exception of the tarot book. And I'll tell you why later. You can get that for 15% off with a special code if you buy it direct from the printing plant, which is, see, the price at Amazon is higher. A lot of people buy through Amazon, but I have to charge more for a book at Amazon. I don't want to, but that money doesn't get to me, because Amazon, they take a nice bite out of it, and the postage rates have gone up too there, but their shipping prices haven't gone up at Amazon, which is nice. But I still think that the best way to get any of the books that I mentioned here on the show would be to go through mojoacademy.org, which is the website I have that offers you Amazon. But if you look around, you'll see it's right there. I don't hide it. Obviously, I'd be an idiot to hide that. You can get it right from the printing plant. You can get any of these books, except the tarot book, as I said. You can get any of these books for 15% off. And I strongly recommend doing that. That's the best way to do it. The reason you don't get the tarot book is that if you get it from the printing plant, you would only get half the book, in a sense, because the whole book package has a CD with it that has tarot readings on it that illustrates points in the book. If you want to learn about tarot, and I don't mean just like this card means that and that card means this and here's what I mean. If you want to have a holistic approach to tarot and read about my adventures in tarot and get all the basic information anyway on top of it, I do recommend that book, Reverend Elliott's Magical Window, which is dedicated to you, the Ask One Radio audience, because you inspired me to do it. I strongly recommend that book. It's a fun book, and it'll teach you a lot of stuff about tarot. And you can do what I do, and then you can replace me and leave me destitute. Yeah, go ahead. That's gratitude for you. But you bought the book, you're entitled to do it. It's called Reverend Elliott's Magical Window. You can find it at mojoacademy.org, and you can find it at amazon.com. And it's, as far as I know, it's the only book that comes with a CD of actual readings. I suppose today people would do that, play it on a computer. But I may have to switch that and make it have it come with a thumb drive. because I don't think people use CDs that much anymore. Well, Ginny in California is on. Hi, you're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, aside from a clogged nose that's more annoying than it is anything else.
Oh,
Doing fine.
sinus allergy.
Oh,
Ah.
Oh, let me tell you, I had no idea what allergies were like until some years ago I had pneumonia. And then I found out that one of the side effects of having had pneumonia is it leaves you with allergies. And I was thinking, what the heck is this? People go through this all their lives?
Oh, yes.
Oh, bad.
Oh, yes.
Bad news. Just another example of a selfish guy who doesn't give anyone any thought until it happens to him, right? You know.
No, you just don't think it can happen to you until it does. That's selfishness has nothing to do with it. I don't feel.
Well, I'm just glad that I got by without getting killed by pneumonia, because the doctor. When I had pneumonia, and the doctor turned to me and said, in front of my wife, she says to me, "There's every reason to believe that you'll pull through." And I took what little breath I could manage, and I said, "Don't tell me that. Tell her that. Tell me I'm going to be fine. If I die, I won't hold it against you." You know. So, but yes, but that was the bad part of having pneumonia, is that it left me with allergies. The good part about having pneumonia is I can recognize pneumonia when it comes, and it came at me 2 more times in my life, and I was able to nip it in the bud real fast. It's not fun. So anyway, enough about my nose. What's going on with you? What would you like me to look at?
Okay, I'm actually, Elliot, I'm looking for information on my biological father.
Okay. What do you want? You want like a personality description, or what are you looking for precisely? This sounds like the kind of thing that we'd take a real in-depth look, like off the air. But what would you like to look at the moment about it?
Well, actually, I don't really know who he is, and I want to know, like, basically, did he know about me? Did he have another family? Was he in a long-term relationship with my mother, or was it just something that happened and maybe he didn't know about me? Just things like that. I don't know if you can do that on the air or not.
Well, there are things I can do. For instance, and this is fascinating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 cards here.
Okay.
Every one of them. Are you familiar with tarot?
A little bit, not real familiar.
Okay, there are wands, there are cups, there are coins, and there are swords, and each represents other things. You know, each represents a phase of life. All of the cards I got for you for this reading, every card I have is a sword card.
Oh boy!
Now beyond
is that a good thing?
it can be good and it can be not so good. And I'm telling you that you got a mixture here. You have 2 of the saddest cards in the deck are here. I'm taking a look at this person, remotely. We're going to do a little spy act here on this person.
Okay.
What I'm seeing is an overwhelmingly sad person. This was the events surrounding your birth and the relationship out of which you came was a sad one. It was almost overwhelming, and I'm seeing, and I'm just looking at his point of view. I mean, this could be wrong. You know what I mean? This could just be about how he sees it. But it was much trouble. It was painful. It was hurting. It was just sorrow. And he didn't know what to do about it, is what I'm seeing. Now, there's an interesting card here. In the middle of all this, though, I have the card of the Hierophant, which indicates marriage. So there was a marriage potential there. or there could have been a marriage. But there's a justice card here, which also has a sword on it, oddly enough. See, swords are the predominant theme here for some reason. We're looking at a person, an unhappy person, a person who was not happy in many, many, many ways. And that's just the bare part that I see.
Okay. Could he have been a close familial relative to my mother?
Who is the she you're referring to? Because I'm looking at. No, I mean I'm looking at the. What I'm looking at is the person who would be your biological father, and I'm seeing that there was a great deal of sadness in that person's life. I'm not getting any indication of any other relationship except that there was a possibility of marriage that may or may not have been done. But see, here's
I don't really have any clue.
Here are more sword cards. I'm just seeing that there was just. It did not look like a very healthy, happy relationship. And again, I'm only looking at his point of view, what I'm seeing. And it was just very sad, all around sadness. Now that I don't know if that helps you or not, but that's about all I can see at the moment, because I'm shuffling them and doing it again, and I'm getting the same cards.
Huh. I see. Yeah, I just again, I don't know who he is. I don't even know if he's still living. I'm presuming he is not, given my age, and I was born in '54, so I seriously doubt that he's still alive.
Sure.
Is there any? I mean, I don't know. I just wondered if he knew about me, and again,
I'm getting
if he had a.
I'm getting indications that he didn't. I'll tell you why. Yes, I'll tell you why. Because you asked this a moment ago, and I pulled out a card, and then I shuffled them, and I got the same card again. And this card is a sword card again, but the person in the card is blindfolded. So I'm pretty comfortable with the idea that he didn't particularly know. Now, I have the death card here, so that may be in response to what you said about him no longer being living.
I don't know, because I don't know who he is. And
yeah, I know.
My mother told me it was someone else, and that turned out not to be who it was.
Well, there's family secrets for you. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you, okay.
I mean, look, I came from a family that was very secretive also. I mean, I don't even know if half my family knows my mother's actual name, which, this is a very eerie kind of thing. Secrets are not my favorite thing, if you know what I mean.
No,
well,
so you're saying he didn't. Okay.
My indication is that it's a strong possibility that he didn't know. Because I'm getting that person, I got it twice, the blindfolded person, in response to you saying that. So I'm taking that as a direct answer.
Okay. Can you give me kind of any characteristics, like physical characteristics?
No, that I couldn't do.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let me try this, because try this. There are interesting people. Let's try on the assumption that the person has probably passed away. There are people at Ask One Radio who specialize in mediumship, which I don't. I can do it with the tarot is clear, and it gives me some messages. But there are people who are really expert at it at Ask One Radio. See if you can find somebody in the lineup who appeals to you, who does that. Okay?
Okay, because see, I had originally requested, not that I have anything against you, because I don't even know you, but I had originally requested someone else, and it was a female, and and that's who I originally requested. So I know I think you have to wait for like a week or something before you like ask for another reading.
Yeah, it should. The thing is that, yeah, because it's a very difficult thing to try to get the person you want, and I understand that a lot of people get me don't have a clue who I am, but I hope I win them over a little bit. But yeah, I think,
no, what you told me is interesting, and I kind of felt like he didn't know. I'm feeling a lot of things, but and then my mother just passed too, and my mother wasn't, again, the most truthful, and she did have her secrets, and
the thing. Let me do this. The thing about calls here, and we only have a few minutes for each call anyway. Calls do go in the order in which they're received, so it's kind of a luck of the draw. But you can find, if you find somebody and you listen to their shows, and that person interests you, almost everybody here does work off the air. And this is a large order you're talking about. So I think it might be worth your while to contact one of these people and see about a private reading off the air. Would take about a half hour or so, where they could just focus on you. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Because doing it on the air may not be the way to go, because this is a very complex thing you're looking for.
I know that. And
so check them out. And let me tell you one thing, you can at least be sure of one thing, that if you get the person through Ask One Radio, that you're going to get an honest reading here and a straightforward person who cares about what you're doing. Because if they don't, nobody on Ask One Radio is the kind of person who doesn't care. So that's the thing. I mean, there are places where there's people who are just trying to hustle you in and out for the money. I mean, we all know that. Same thing goes if you're buying a car, let's face it. But you really can put yourself in the hands of the people here, because first of all, you know where to find them, and secondly, they care. So give it a shot, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Elliot. Good luck selling your books. I was listening to your book.
Thanks.
So.
Thanks. You can find the books at mojoacademy.org. Okay. There's always something there that'll help somebody. Okay. Thanks a lot. It's been great talking to you. And I think you're going to find what you're looking for. I really do. Thanks for calling.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now. And let's go to Jillian in New Jersey. Hi, you're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
Good.
Good. Well, let's see if we can make that a little better. What can I look at for you?
I'm
Jill?
kind of.
Oh, there you.
I'm kind of looking into any messages from my mom. She passed away 3 years ago unexpectedly, and we're still in the process of figuring out things of what could have happened, and I just felt her around, like a lot around me in the beginning, and I haven't, and I just needed some any guidance or anything you can help me.
Well, the first, as you're talking, I pull out the card, which is the Temperance card, and that shows a big, nice, happy angel who helps balance life and helps things get into balance. So that's good. That's a good sign there. This is just remarkable, because this happened in almost every reading I do, which concerns a person who has passed, and to see if there's a message, I get this card, which is the Sun, which is a card of health and healing and growth and happiness. So if the message is saying, I'm here, I'm doing fine, and you'll be fine too, is definitely the message here. The Temperance card shows me that this angel is going to help bring you balance back. You're feeling unbalanced ever since it happened. It's only been 3 years, right? That's you're talking about a lifetime together, and then 3 years, that's nothing, right? So you're still feeling. You're still feeling the loss, and you probably always will, to some degree, feel that loss. That's the card here. That's the Three of Swords, which is a heart pierced by swords, and the heart is crying. So that's the pain, and yet the message is, I'm here, and I'm here, and healing and growing and spiritually. I'm balanced. You'll be balanced. You know, it's a mixture. It's the usual. This is the thing that almost every one of these readings comes out this way. There are 2 sad cards here and 2 cards of balance and joy and happiness and healing. So that's the message. The message is, yes, we're both very sad about this. That's the duality, the 2 cards. And we're both going to grow through this is the answer. Okay?
Okay.
So it's a very simple message here, which is that there's a combination of pain and yet there's growth and happiness. Obviously, nobody's happy about all of the suffering, but there's healing is a more precise word for what that card means. In fact, here's the 10 of Cups, which shows a happy family and a rainbow and joy. So I don't think you're alone. I really don't. I do think that you're being watched over at this point, whether you feel it or not. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to light a white candle for you to send you positive energy at the end of the show, because that could help the spirit contact. And let me know if you hear anything, if you feel anything change. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye bye now. Let's shuffle up the cards. These are very strange readings. When I started doing them, I couldn't understand why I keep getting the saddest cards in the deck and the happiest cards in the deck. And that still happens. I remember the first time, I never even tried to do a reading like this until somebody at Ask One Radio here asked me to do it. And ever since then, I've been doing them, and it's always the same. It's always the same. One time it was different, actually, and that was a very, very personal and painful message, so that I told the person that I would rather tell you off the air. And we talked in private about it a day later. But generally, these afterlife readings go the same way, which is that sometimes they'll show a person who passed away under really horrible circumstances. But that's immediately followed by cards of healing and health and growth. You see, this is very odd how that it always works out that way, except for that one time I mentioned. It's almost as if the spirit message is that it's okay, that this is part of life. This happened to me. There's really nothing we can do about it at this. We're all going to face that journey. That's for sure. I'm not exactly thrilled by it, but who knows, when I get to be a touch older, perhaps, maybe I'll be ready for it. I don't know. I mean, it's we can all agree that there are people taken too soon from us. Sometimes there are people in our lives I've known people in their 90s and they left a big gap. You can enjoy that you were with them, but still, that's how it goes. Let's see if we can get another call in. That's how it goes. Isn't that very surprising, right? Let's see. Let me see if I can. We have one more call here. Juliet in England is here. Hi, you're on with Reverend Elliot.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, how are you today?
Not brilliant, but it's just one of them things, isn't it?
Yeah. So what would you like to look at? I've got a couple of minutes.
Okay, then. Can you have a look at my spirituality?
Well, let's see. I think you should know something about it, but what would you like to know about your spirituality? I got here. Well, let's say I got here the Strength card. You're a very strong person. The 7 of Rods. You're a person who can sweep away adversity. The 10 of Cups. You're a person who can enjoy happiness. The 4 of Swords shows me that you're able to take time out for yourself. Do you meditate?
Yes, I do.
Well, there's that card. That's what that is. The Hierophant is a card of religious authority. So then religion and spirituality go hand in glove. So that's there. And there's the Magician, that you're a person who can take power, spiritual power from above, and apply it here practically down on the earth. Are you a spiritual worker?
Yes, I am.
Oh, see, that's the card of the spiritual workers. That's why I asked you that, because you can translate. You can translate that into earthly power, and you do very well at it. That's what I'm seeing. Let me ask you this: are you shy about getting paid for doing spiritual work?
You know what? It's funny you're talking about that, because I'm in between regarding work with something like that. Yeah, funny you saying that. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, there are a lot of people who think that you shouldn't get paid for doing this kind of stuff, and I can only quote a great spiritual writer who long ago pointed out that there's such a thing as the spiritual economy, and that if you're worth your labor, you're worth your keep. So don't be shy about charging. Don't charge an arm and a leg. You know, keep the prices fair. But you have every right to ask for payment for what you're doing, because you put a lot of yourself into it. And here's the page of coins, and that's the appearance of money stream. So that's why I asked that, is because I saw cards of reluctance there.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
You have to go quickly because I'm almost out of time. I got about a minute left.
Okay, sorry. Regarding my relationship.
I see that there's a relationship that is either just recently ended or is about to end, and something new will be coming. Now, I hate to leave you on that note. It'll be good. It's the Ace of Cups, so that's a good one. But I've got to run now, okay? So thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Elliot.
Bye-bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye.
And that's it, folks. That's it. Another edition of Reverend Elliot's Magical Window, show 72,842,963. Or something like that. So let me just wrap it up a little bit by saying that I'll be back next week, of course, at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific. You can find me on social media at Reverend Elliot's Tarot Consulting page at Facebook. I have a Twitter page, which about 3 people pay attention to. I'm not big on Twitter because I don't want to get into political arguments just to get clicks. What else is there? I'm on MeWe, which always sounds to me like an annoyed French person, but it's a different kind of social media. It's have a slight presence there, but mostly I've got loads and loads of people, nice people, kind people. You'll meet people with the same interests as you at Reverend Elliot's Tarot Consulting page at Facebook. Give that a shot. If you want a reading off the air, or if you want to just contact me, you can get to me at asktarot@earthlink.net. Asktarot, ASKTAROT, at earthlink.net. Be sure to check out mojoacademy.org for the best in occult books and audio and video. Yes, video. And magic-works.com is my main website. magick-works.com. I'll be back next week. See you then. Bye-bye.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, enlightening television. Welcome. And now, Reverend Elliot's Magical Window with Reverend Elliot. Live from magic-works.com. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page. Facebook.com/Psychic Radio. Or one of our websites. AskOneRadio.com or Moonstruck.tv. This is Reverend Elliot's Magical Window on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Elliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you once again live from the city of New York, where contrary to media reports, people are not getting machine gunned in the streets. In fact, ever since the lockdowns a couple of years ago, this is a far friendlier town. I'm in Midtown, so my area is just in the theater district near Times Square. So we get a lot of people from all over the world visiting us here, and even the locals are friendly. New Yorkers have a reputation for being nasty. Forget about it. You know, I can't even leave the house without getting into 2 or 3 conversations, just like between here and the grocery store, which is around the corner. People just are starved to talk and meet each other. And are they sick of politics? Let me tell you, that's my own unofficial straw poll. Why is it called a straw poll anyway? I'll have to look that up sometime. Speaking of straws, I had my, the summer is 8 days old, and I had my first gin and tonic today, and my second and my third of the summer. And I'm able to do that and sound so clear and level-headed because at my advanced age, I use like about a tablespoon of gin in each gin and tonic. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But I love the crispy, the refreshingness of gin and tonic with lime. Oh, man, that is just wonderful. To me, that's the second best thing you can do with lime. First best is key lime pie. Outstanding. I used to make such a wonderful key lime pie. I brought one to a restaurant a friend of mine owned years ago, and the people each got a slice, and then they put it in the refrigerator, and then unbeknownst to even the owner of the place, the staff sold it. They thought, oh, look, we have key lime pie on the menu. Now, I can't do that because I'm not, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many thousands of regulations there are if you want to go into the food business, which is one of the reasons I didn't. But if you want to get into that, wow, I mean, people talk about, well, we need smaller government. One of the areas, I'm not going to get into the political aspects of it, but you can take years to satisfy the requirements for the labeling of a package when you sell food. So I steer clear of that kind of stuff. I have lots of nice things for sale because I think it's nice to sell nice things. And I unfortunately, I had to raise my prices lately because, in case you hadn't noticed, right, things are getting more and more expensive. But I did raise, this is just fair warning for the people who go to mojoacademy.org, mojoacademy.org. You don't have to go to mojoacademy.org. I'm mentioning that over and over again. But yeah, because, I do say, look, this is really not the time to spend money on extraneous things. But there are a couple of books at mojoacademy.org that I think they rise to the level of necessity, especially in the times that we're in now, where, unfortunately, we have a lot of people in this country right now scared to death over things they don't understand. They think they understand it. That's the essence of fear, I suppose. But everything is going to move along just fine. This is a time of change, and change scares people. And that's why I think one of the things that I recommend the most is a book called Unmasking Fear. It was written in 1919. I wrote 2 introductions to the updated version of it because I wasn't old enough to write in 1919. But it's a book that is very important, and I love it when people buy it and talk about it, because it is about the way certain power structures in the world control people by keeping them afraid, you see. Now, I always say that everything you need to know about politics, you can see in the movie The Music Man, where the guy whips everybody up into a frenzy over a problem that doesn't exist just so that he can sell them a solution, okay? We see this all the time. And people, I'm sorry to have to say this, but fear is addicting. Physically, fear is addicting because there's certain hormones that get released when the adrenaline goes running, and it changes the body, it changes the mind. And unfortunately, there are people who become addicted to fear, and they need a dose of fear, and they're always going to be afraid. And if you try to show them that what they're afraid of isn't really scary, they'll cut your throat. You're taking away something that's most important. There are, for some reason, people who only feel alive when they're scared. This is where we get these like vertical drop roller coasters. A good old-fashioned roller coaster isn't enough for our jaded society. But this book, Unmasking Fear, when it was written, there wasn't even radio. There was no mass media. People didn't understand. Now, you want to understand why mass media has the power to scare you? And you want to understand when they realized it? Go to YouTube, look online for the 1930s. Was it 39, I guess, was it, or 38? See how terrible I am with dates. I can tell you a story about the worst date I ever had, but that's a little later. Listen to the Orson Welles famous, everyone knows about it, but very few people have actually heard it. The Orson Welles War of the Worlds broadcast. Here's something that's fascinating to maybe 4 people listening. That script was actually edited down and written by the actor Paul Stewart, which very few people, some of you out there have got to be Paul Stewart fans, like I am. You'll know him when you see him. He's wonderful in Kiss Me Deadly. But this was the thing that achieved legendary status when Orson Welles pretended to have Martians invading New Jersey. And people believed it. Now, was there nationwide panic the way the newspapers reported it the next day? No. There are some interesting books about why newspapers misreported it. However, enough people did believe it. Enough people did believe that something could be launched, a spaceship could be launched on Mars and land in New Jersey 8 minutes later, which on its own is ludicrous, that the powers that be at the time learned that whatever people hear from a well-modulated voice over the radio and later television will be believed by a certain percentage of the people. And that's what we have now. And you say, how can this person or that person lie? Well, because it works, and that there's just no other way around it. But using fear, the one thing that I spent years in the news business, and I spent years in politics. And one thing is the flip side of the other. I know that a lot of you understand that there's a direct, like, politics to media pipeline, and I was on it. How can I phrase this? If you're busy being scared, you're not going to think about what's coming up. You're not going to be rational about things. When you're scared, the blood drains from your brain, literally. It goes to your arms and your legs, so that you can run or fight. It's a fight or flight syndrome. Literally, scaring you makes you dumber. We've all been startled and then found out that it was scared and it was something silly. I got the bejabbers scared out of me one night when I saw myself in a mirror. Now, I know I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but at that point, it was the middle of the night in somebody else's apartment. I was visiting a friend. I couldn't have been more than 10 years old, at least. I was in the area of about 10 years old when there had been a massive power failure, and I didn't know my way around, and I turned a corner in the apartment in the dark, and there was a person coming right at me, and it was me in a mirror, but I didn't know that because I was scared, you see. So I didn't even recognize myself. See? What is the expression people use? I want you to repeat this to yourself because this is behind all the attempts to scare you in media. Scared out of your wits, okay? What are your wits? Your wits are your intelligent faculties. Scared out of your wits. That's the holy grail of broadcasting. And this book, Unmasking Fear, was written before broadcasting, which is up at the time it was written, broadcasting was a farming term. It had to do with scattering seeds. That was broadcasting your seed. Just throw it across the field. So they picked up that as a metaphor for running things on mass media, which prior to radio never existed. I mean, nobody was hunched over the Morse code machine. I think the correct word is telegraph, Elliot, and waiting for like fight results. So anyway, this is by way of my mentioning mojoacademy.org and why I like to sell ethical products. I don't sell anything that's unethical. I don't sell like a magical kit that will cure this or that problem. I do sell magical kits that can help you deal with these problems. I don't sell them very often because most of the time I dissuade people from buying them. Brilliant sales technique, right? To talk people out of the sale. But if a person doesn't need it, I don't want to sell it to them. I explain that in my book, Reverend Elliot Explains It All. See, isn't that funny how everything I bring up now is related to a product I'm pushing? And at the same time, though, you see, I'm telling you, don't buy anything from me. And I mean it sincerely. Because I sell some of the pendants that I have, which have magical symbols on them, and I can. And anybody buys those and you don't know how to use it, just contact me and I'll let you know. But like I said, we're in very dangerous times right now because people are scared, and if you're under 40, which I'm trusting some of you are, you never experienced inflation like this, never. And all I'll tell you, without, this is nothing magical. This is no serious revelation. The only way you can fix and stop inflation is with recession. And recession, if it gets out of control, becomes a depression. Now, we have not heard that word depression since 1932. When the Great Depression happened. I remember a radio personality asking, what was so great about the Depression? I didn't think it was very good. Why do they call it great? No, great means huge. This is what, in fact, originally was meant when people referred to the United States as this great land of ours. They meant that it goes from coast to coast, that it's huge, it's colossal. And, of course, these things change, because... to me, my favorite word that shifted is incredible. People think incredible means wonderful. Incredible means lacking in credibility and can't be believed. Now, a few years ago, about 15, 20 years ago, there was a guy advertising a product on the radio here, which was garbage. It was a fake product. It was a pseudo-medical thing. It was garbage. It was baloney. I'm using the most polite words I can in mixed company. But he didn't get into trouble. When they tried to shut him down, he said, I told people it was not real, because his ad began with the words, everything I'm about to tell you now is completely incredible. Now, what he was saying was, don't believe me. But everybody heard it as, being, wow, that's incredible. That is not what incredible means. So, boy, am I going on a tangent here. My favorite fruit is a tangent. The thing is that we have fear now, and the money supply is shrinking in value. You can't do that accidentally, I might add. For some reason I can't even fathom, people wanted to do this, and they did it. Now, they won't use the word depression. That's what got me on Words Changing, because of the images that conjures up of people selling apples, and the mythology that the stock market crashed in October of 1929 and the next day the Depression started. No, the Depression started a little bit later. There, a couple of years after that, but it was still bad after the stock market crash. But we have two bad choices now. We can leave things the way they are, and bit by bit your savings and your money will go away. Your house will be worth more, but nobody will be able to buy it. Or they can engineer a recession, and it will be really bad for about 2 years with high unemployment. But after that, we'll be fine. And people don't want to do that. People really resent the idea of having to suffer to get something. And I understand that. And they should question. They should ask questions like, why was this done? So I'm going to be getting tarot readings tonight. You watch, that have a lot of new beginnings in them. Aces, the Wheel of Fortune. I pull a card before each show to give me a sense of what's going on in the environment. And the card I got was the Wheel of Fortune, which is we're in changing times. I certainly hope, because we can't maintain what's going on now. We can't keep this up because people are suffering, and there's no need for it. The problem is that for the first couple of years, the cure is worse than the disease. The people of Japan took care of this many years ago when they had rampant inflation, and the government told them what they were going to do. Said we are. They didn't lie to them. They didn't say everything is fine. Everybody knew it wasn't. And they said, here's what we're going to do. There's going to be a recession. People are going to be struggling. It's going to hurt a lot of people, but you're going to be fine in a couple of years. So they asked people to help each other and work together, right? Help your neighbors, work together, and we'll all get through this. And they did. And Japan emerged as one of the strongest economies on the planet. Well, you can't do that at a time when the political and media people are pushing division. We're supposed to hate people who disagree with us. And this is very important. This comes out as the sum and substance of the book, Unmasking Fear, because you're not supposed to disagree with somebody. You're supposed to cancel them. You're supposed to eradicate them. You're supposed to fear them if they disagree with you. Anytime I state an opinion when I get into a political discussion, I do it with the underlying assumption that I could be wrong. Because if I'm willing to assume that you're wrong, then I have to understand that you can assume that I'm wrong. And you may have a point, and that's called learning. But right now, we have a situation when we need it the least, where it's my team is better than your team, and I'm going to vote for my team. But that's changing. People are switching teams. I won't go into that too deeply because that's beyond the scope of what we're doing here. But I'm just saying that the problem we're facing now is far from transitory, and it's going to hurt people. And this is the time when you may want to take a look at some of the books that I have at mojoacademy.org. Not all of them. I mean, I don't think you need the books like on numerology, or I don't think you need the book about William Jennings Bryan's last speech, things like that. They're interesting and they're historical. But what we need now is a toolbox, man. We need tools to deal with what's being thrust upon us by people who claim to love us and care of us and have our best interest at heart. Okay. I think you know where I'm going with that. So, I'm not going to get political on this because politics comes and goes. And, anyone over 40 has been here before. We've seen it before, and we knew we'd see it again. And you can't plausibly say that everything is fine and we don't need to do anything. But prepare yourselves mentally and emotionally, because there are people who want to scare you. That's all I want to get across now. Bad things, we don't like when bad things happen, but bad things happen. And that is not to say that bad things don't make us better. The old thing, whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Well, I'm not sure I want to be made stronger that way. That's a good swift kick in the groin is not going to make me stronger tomorrow, but so don't do that to me. But what I'm telling you is there's a highly paid industry out there to scare you, and I am here to give you positive energy and hope in terms of reality, which is that the reality is there is a whole industry which is coextent with politics, which is designed to scare you. So if you're feeling scared, okay. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to change things that you can't change? Or are you going to change the things that you can change, which are like essentially you? You can change you. See? And then you'll be stronger for that. That's the long way of saying, come on, guys, don't be scared needlessly. Fear is important, by the way. Fear is the emotion that tells us something's wrong. When you're constantly in fear, that's terror, and that's no good. We punish terrorists because terror is no good. Same thing with anger. Anger is good. Anger is the feeling that tells you that you've been mistreated. Constant anger is rage, and that will kill you. It will kill you. So check out certain things like Reverend Elliott Explains It All. See, I've got things in that book that'll show you how to use meditation techniques to clear the negative energy away from you. There's recordings there at mojoacademy.org for cleansing negative energy. It works. Let me tell you, it works. You know, this is, I think, one of the greatest inventions of modern history was the iPod. I know they're not going to be making them anymore, but there's still music players that you can use. And just put a meditation on that, pop it on your head at night, and go to sleep listening to it. And you'll be amazed at what good stuff it can do. And you can see, I even have the Three Stooges meditation disc at mojoacademy.org. And all these things are there to help. Psycholaxation. Now, that was a recording. Could you imagine? That was a record from 1955 as a guided meditation, possibly one of the first ones. You'd have to put what we would call the hi-fi right near the bed in those days. Now you can just pop earbuds on and listen to psycholaxation. These are all things that will help you, and that's why I mentioned mojoacademy.org. Like I said, in times like these, I'm torn between not wanting to do any hard pressure sales technique stuff, which I don't do anyway. But there are things there that will change your life. That was the reason that we started Mojo Brothers Publishing. There are things there that will change your life. And among them will be those things like the Three Stooges meditation. It's a Shemp meditation disc. I know it sounds silly, but it works. It's been around since the 70s and was an underground cassette, and you can get a CD of it and get that audio out and put it into your player. Psycholaxation, that has helped me beautifully. I have chakra meditations there that will clear your negative energy because, folks, negative energy is coming at you like a tidal wave right now. And they're counting on it. They're running negative energy and negative stuff on television constantly to get you to be messed up. Don't allow it. Okay, we're going to wrap this up and get to the tarot readings, which is why we're here. But I'm doing this because this environment of fear, anger, rage, deliberately foisted upon us by people who make money. They do it for money to hurt people. We got to bring an end to this. And I want you all to take responsibility for cleansing your own mind and spirit of the negative, ugly energies that highly paid people are putting there. Let me tell you something, because I've done it. I opened up by saying I had my first gin and tonic of the summer today. You don't, just please trust me on this. You do not want to sit down in a bar and have drinks with news people, because your anger level and your blood pressure will rise. They are not what you think they are. They're not Walter Cronkite sitting in a room just giving you the news. These are these are like pushers of fear. And they know it and they like it. I'll be happy to talk to any of you off the air about this if you want to. I mean, quite seriously. My email is asktarot, ASKTAROT, @earthlink.net. Anybody wants to get in touch with me about any of this, you just drop me a line. Also, if you want a free tarot mini reading, that's my gift to the Ask One Radio audience. Drop me a line there. asktarot@earthlink.net. I've been shuffling up the cards, you see. And it won't help because the cards are going to show that these are times of change and negativity. But we're going to deal with it on an individual level. There goes my throat. Hang on. There we are. The golden throat is back. I'm going to ring a bell 3 times now to declare sacred space, and we're going to get to our first reading. Draw back the curtain on the magical window for Angela in Brooklyn. Hi, Angela. You're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, fellow New Yorker?
Oh, I guess I'm okay.
Well, maybe we can make it better. It is tiring, you know. I mean, here we keep hearing about how horrible things are in New York now, and we're here, you know. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, things have been better, but I don't think of it as horrible. I don't know. So
no, I don't think of it as horrible either. I love New York. So.
Yeah, you know, the people outside of New York, a lot of people, they still think that Death Wish was what New York was really like. You know, even back then, New York wasn't like that, you know.
I still love going in the city. I mean, it's coming back, and I'm really happy that, you know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have a few nuts around, but for a city of 8.5 million people, goodness, you know.
But they were always there.
Yes, they were. They were. So, and Angela, what can I look at for you?
Well, since my husband's been gone a few years, and right now financially I'm kind of struggling, but I have my house, and I have an apartment that I was renting, a co-op, and I'm in the process of selling it, but it's been a lot of problems with the real estate. It's been a disaster, and I just hope it's going to end soon without me going, making a little bit of a profit, but I'm having a very hard time in, trusting the real estate guy, and I just, I hope it ends soon because financially I need it to end.
Yeah, well, I tell you, while you started talking, before you told me what was on your mind, the first card I got was the King of Coins, which is about money, which is about mastering money and dealing with money. So I could see that was the issue. There's also sadness involved. I guess that relates to the loss of your husband because I have the Nine of Swords here. So there's still a lot of sadness going on in around that, and there always will be, I'm sure.
And then I have family issues. Family makes me crazy and stuff.
Oh well, I'm gonna.
That's kind of normal.
I know. I actually fired my family long ago. So I did. I said right out. So genetics doesn't give you a special privilege to abuse me, folks. So
well, they do anyway.
Yeah, I know. Well, let me tell you, there's changes coming. That's the Wheel of Fortune. There's changes coming your way, and they're going to be good changes because the next card is the Eight of Cups, and that is a card of a person who gets from where she is, to something and leaves something that isn't working, which is where you are, and is going to something better. So you're working on improving yourself, and I see that it's going to pay off because the next card is the Nine of Cups, and that's a card of satisfaction and enjoyment. It's also a card that is a person who knows how to enjoy life. There's a warning in that card that people may be envious of you because of that you're going to live well. And there's the Ace of Cups too. So the two things these are very good cards here. The two things that are most important to you are financial but emotional. I mean, you're not one of these people who's going to do anything for money. That it has to feel right for you, and you're going to get that. You're going to do that. In fact, I've got the Ten of Cups, which is a great card of happiness and joy. So you will come through this okay. It's one of the quirks of inflation is that real estate gets to bring in more money than it would ordinarily. It's one of those strange things. That's why when inflation starts coming, it looks like a good time at first. It's because because there's a lot of money around, and there was a lot of money being spent. So there's still a chance that things will work out well for you. In fact, I have a card here which is the Six of Rods, which is great success and triumph. So I do think that things are going to work out really well for you.
And what about emotionally and all that? I mean, I do keep busy. I do have friends and stuff, but I'm still kind of stuck.
Well, I there's nothing you can do except understand that it's the way of life. When we outlive somebody who was that close to us, it's not fair. You know what I mean? That's about it. But the Ace of Cups is here, which is a rebirth of emotional stuff. The aces are beginnings, and the cups are joy and happiness and affairs of the heart. And, so it's telling me that, this is the best of all of them. This is the same thing on steroids. It's the Sun, which is a card of healing and health and growth. So I think you're going to come through okay. Let me just shuffle it up one more and get one more card.
Okay.
And see if that adds anything to it, because it's a boringly happy reading, So let's see what we get here. This probably relates to the real estate thing. It's the Three of Rods, and that is about you in partnership with somebody else are waiting for the results to happen, and the results will happen. The results will come in.
Okay.
So hang in there, and remember, if you don't feel right about a professional who's working on your behalf, speak to that person and consider finding somebody else. You know, this is because this is a time of this is a time when people who have assets have a little bit more power than usual. Like if you have if you're one of those lucky people who has some cash to deal with, you'll get better interest rates now. You know, that's a byproduct of inflation, and you gotta take it where you get it, right? But I think you're going to come out of this okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle up the cards again. You're listening to Reverend Elliot's Magical Window on the Ask One Radio Network, where we get together every Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific to look through the magical window of the tarot, which we're going to do right now for Donna in Del City, Oklahoma. Hi, Donna. You're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good.
Well, let's see what we can do to make that better. What can I look at for you?
Oh, my goodness. Everything helps.
Was there anything in particular you want to look at?
Maybe just, well, no, not really.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. I have a card here that is a card of somebody who feels stuck and is not moving and not going anywhere. Is that what you're feeling?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
I said it tonight. Yes, I did.
That's the 8 of Swords.
Yeah, it seems like it's just a circle. Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can take a look at what that's all about, because I do see better times coming for you, and coming soon, I might add, because that's the 8 of Rods. That means whatever's coming your way is in motion now. This is vague, but it says, because I'm looking at the bigger picture, did something happen that made you sad recently?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Because I've got.
Yeah.
I have this. You don't have to tell me more than you want to. You know, if you don't want to go into detail, that's absolutely fine. But I'm seeing that you're feeling stuck, which you confirmed. The 3 of Swords is a card of sadness, and I don't want to go into more than that, because you know what it means. You know what I'm talking about. You know why you're feeling sad, and if you don't want to go into it, I certainly am not going to force you to go into that in front of all these people. But I do see the situation changing and getting better for you, and sooner than you think. Not right away, but sooner than you think. You're
blowing my mind, because everything you're hitting right on the head. Right on the head. Yes.
Is there a legal matter in your life right now?
Yes, but I can't get anywhere with it. I had a daughter that was in an accident and killed, and I don't know. I wasn't told what happened. I was told she was in an accident, didn't survive, but she was hit by a train, and I never identified the body. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
Because I've got cards that indicate both a legal issue and sadness. So now what I was going to ask you about the sad part, but you just told us. So yeah, these are all the things. The cards are showing me exactly what's on your mind, and the cards are showing me exactly what the issues are. Now that doesn't really help, because let's see if we can shuffle them up and see what it's going to be like in the near future here. See if we can get some kind of idea about where this is leading you. This is the thing about tarot, which is just astounding to me. As many years as I've been doing this, which is about 42,000 years in human years, it never ceases to amaze me how these cards can get right to what's going on. Okay, now again, I shuffled up the cards. You heard them, but I've got still the 9 of Swords, which is the card of great sadness, and the Judgment card. That's why I asked about the law. These cards came back. And then I have another one for you, which is about the judgment card is about getting what you deserve. It's getting what belongs to you. It's getting what you merit. And the temperance card is here. The temperance card is telling me, because we're looking at the future here, that your life balance will be restored in your life. It is unbalanced now, and it should be, because bad things happened, and they throw us off balance. So there's no shame in that. But the two cards I'm seeing for your future are the temperance card, which means that balance will be restored, and the 10 of Swords, which means that the worst is over, and you're still here, and you're going to get up and keep going. And just to be sure, I got the Justice card. That means there's definitely going to be some action in terms of the legal stuff that you're pursuing. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
So right now you're in the thick of it, and it's upsetting. As somebody who just concluded a couple of years of legal action myself, that I know how that weighs on the mind. But I'm seeing that the Judgment and Justice cards are pretty damn good indication that you're going to get justice here in this case. So hang in there, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to light a candle for you after the show to send positive energy your way. How's that?
That's great.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle them up again. See, it's amazing to me how tarot goes right to the heart of what's going on. Now, if it doesn't, if because every time I ask the question, like, did you have a loss recently? I'm making an inference from the cards that I pull, but I'm always prepared for it to be wrong. It rarely is wrong. And that's not me. That's not, look what a great tarot reader I am. No. That is such a trap in the esoteric world, when the magician starts to take credit for the work. But it's not. We work the system. In fact, if you remember the stories, if you remember your Bible stories, this is why Moses was denied entry into the Promised Land. Could you imagine wandering around for all these years and not getting allowed in because he did something? He claimed credit for a miracle that he didn't do. And he needed to be brought down a peg for that one. And that's why he was denied entry in the Promised Land. Courtney in California is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Good. Anything special you want to look at? Or should I just look through the cards and see what shows up?
I kind of wanted to talk about my past life. I've always felt really connected to Marilyn Monroe, and I don't know if there's actually something there. So if we could tap into that.
I had an interesting experience with Arthur Miller, to whom she was married for a while. That was a weird experience. There was a guy who, I'll tell you briefly. There was a guy who was famous in the 1960s who, by the 1990s, he had a lot of weird ideas, but he was a fascinating guy. He made a lot of things happen, and I introduced him to a literary agent, and we were sitting in a restaurant having lunch, and he used to get up and walk out of the restaurant every few minutes because next door was an off-track betting parlor, which we used to have in New York. Only New York City could run a bookie joint and blow it and ruin it. So they had to be shut down. But he was a little bit of an overpowering personality, this man, and he could inflate his ego a bit. And one of the times he left the restaurant to go to check on his bets, the agent turned to me and says, "Who does he think he is, Arthur Miller?" And guess who walked into the restaurant the moment she said that? It was Arthur Miller.
Oh my gosh.
Which is this kind of stuff that happened around this guy all the time. So, hey, what can I tell you? This if you feel a connection, it can be real. Now, what I can do is look at some stuff for you.
I'm also a medium,
excellent.
and so there's so many things that we just connect. Like the same cat that she had, the same dog that she had, the same color hair, same color eyes, same height, same weight, same body shape. I mean, it's just down to everything. It's just insane. I was adopted. I was passed through homes myself. I had 3 loves in my life. I'm very young. I could say 24, but I feel like I've lived 1,000 lifetimes. I just, being a medium, I've never been able to read myself unless I'm talking to someone else.
There's an image in Buddhism about lifetimes. Like how many lifetimes how long do we have to do this? And the image is this. Picture a huge mountain like the size of Mount Everest, right? Yeah. And a bird flies by Mount Everest with a piece of silk in its beak. And the piece of silk brushes against the top of Mount Everest. And that bird flies by once a year. The amount of time we need is the amount of time it takes that bird with the silk to wear the mountain down.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, you know, it's in Hinduism, of course, you know, they deal in hundreds of thousands of year installments, kalpas and things like that. So, yeah, you know, have you done anything like Akashic record meditations?
I've done multiple meditations with worldwide known psychics multiple times. Worked with them a few times, though I have ended up in like a psych ward just from getting overloaded from, you know, being really spiritual and my mediumship and psychicism coming out. But I got more of a grip on it. My last time that I was at the hospital was last October. I got out, so. And it was only for a month. It was a really long time. That was probably the longest, but
I hope everything is okay.
Yeah.
I hope everything's okay. Yeah.
Better.
A month in the hospital is a nightmare, you know. Let's face it.
Yeah, no, it is definitely.
So you seem pretty clear about what you want. Now, let me just preface this also just quickly by saying, I understand where you're coming from, because I have even from childhood, have very clear images of a previous existence of my own.
Yes, and I have those too. When I've done past life regressions, I've seen images, and this will freak some people out on the air listening, but I've had, you know, where I've seen specifically 2 to 3 men in suits around me and walking outside of my house to the side of my trellis, and then it just gets black from there. And I've always been afraid of suffocating for some reason, and I do not like taking medicine. You know, they tried to get me on schizophrenic medications, and what they did to Marilyn, basically. And I've had just some really crazy experiences happen where I should not be here today, and somehow I am.
Well, you're here, you know, and you're aware. Yeah. That's a good sign. You know, these. You know, I'm not doing this as a plug, but there is a book that my company reprinted called "How I Discovered My Mediumship," and it was by probably the most famous American medium of the early 20th century, which means she's totally forgotten now. You know, but see, she's been through. She explains what it's like growing up that way, and how everyone treated her like she was a lunatic. You know, and yet. She gained an astonishing reputation as a very clear medical medium, in fact.
Yeah, I'm actually able to pick up on people's health problems that they're going through. I mean, it's crazy the things that I'm able to pick up on. I thought I was just a medium at first, but then I was able to pick up on like what's going on with your left eye, or your right knee, or your shoulder, or your back pain, or your stomach, like. Even your heart, like I could pick up on things that I just should not be able to. And with Marilyn Monroe, she also was very much into finding out about things. She visited Area 51 with John F. Kennedy. I mean, she did so many things.
Well,
got her palm read too.
I live just a few blocks away from the Actors Studio. So, you know, have you ever visited there? I mean, that might be, you might, just standing near that building might do things for you, might bring things up.
I've actually been to New York one time. I swam in the Hudson River in Albany, and then I went to the Times Square, and then I went to Ellis Island to see like my history of like my biological family, and we dug into it a little bit because there's not much that I really know. I never knew my father, just like Marilyn Monroe. I still don't know him to this day. There's some mystery there. And my mother, she was in and out of prison.
And keep up with the meditation work, because you do have memories in there that you don't know you have. from this life, even. You know, because our memories go way back. I'm running short on time here, but I would recommend because you do see. I sometimes hear from people in your situation who don't understand what's happening to them or why. You're not in that. Yeah. You seem further along with that, which is fine. I mean, that'll help you. But I do think that if you look at mojoacademy.org and look at the book Understanding How I Discovered My Mediumship, there may be some things that you could pick up there that'll help you out, because it's a very moving story of a woman who survived all of the attempts to put her down in a way, you know. So give it a shot. It may
through my hospitalizations.
It may help you out. Let me tell you that the one thing I'm seeing here, just let me leave you with this since I'm here for tarot. There's a Four of Cups is the card I get for you. And that is a card that shows a person looking at 3 cups, and there's another cup coming out of a cloud in a hand, and the person doesn't see it yet. That's a card of hidden influences. And that's important because that's what you're talking about. Is you want to get a handle on those hidden influences that are in your life.
Yes.
So, you know, see what you can do through meditation. I recommend the Tara Sutphin's meditation for Akashic memories. That's a very good one. If you can find that, I think it's still for sale. If not, if you have a problem with it, I can look around to see where it is and see if I can get you a copy. But that does very good too. But How I Discovered My Mediumship might help you. And remember, the point of this book is that you're dealing with hidden influences, and you know that, and you're not scared of them. That's the important thing. I've got to run now. I want to see if I can get one more call in, but it's been great talking to you, and I wish you all the best with this. And come to New York again and see if you can stand in front of the Actors Studio on 44th Street and see what happens. Because you were so close when you go to Times Square. Times Square is just a couple of blocks away. This is 44th between 9th Avenue and 10th. Okay?
Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye-bye now. And let's see if we can get one more call in. We have a few minutes, and that would be Carrie in South Dakota. Hi, Carrie. You're on with Reverend Elliot.
Hello.
Hi. We've just got a couple of minutes to go here. So what can I look at for you?
I'm wondering if you can tell me anything. I'm looking at possibly filing for bankruptcy, and if that is a good option for me or not.
Well, let me tell you, the first thing is all 3 cards here that I pulled out while you were starting to talk to me are about money. So, yeah. The 10 of Cups is the final card, which is a card of happiness and success and joy. So it's something worth pursuing. I definitely don't think that you should take the advice of the tarot cards in like a minute and a half reading, but it does look like this is a decent option, because the end result I'm seeing is success.
Okay. Thank you so much.
There's a success and emotional well-being. So that, you know, it's the best thing I could do is the question would be, and this is the really best for tarot, is if you go for the bankruptcy route, how will that work out? And this looks like it'll work out good. But please stay consulting professionals and see what you can do. Okay. Right. Because, you know, financially, these are weird times. I'm expecting gold to start losing value. That's how weird it is. So, you know, don't take your advice from some cards, no matter how wonderful they are. That I don't think that will help you, but you're gonna come out okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye now. And that's it. We've come to the end of another session of Reverend Elliot's Magical Window, where we get to look around the space-time continuum and see what's coming. You see, I told you there's going to be a lot of stuff about money and changes and things happening that are just strange, man. You know, because these are strange times. Like I said, when you get into inflation, it presents opportunities. All bad situations present good opportunities, but you know, it's difficult. You got to be prepared for them, and very few people are. Like even a stock market crash. If you're young enough and you have the cash, that's a good time to start buying certain stocks. But no, this is, we're looking at more lofty things here, which is the spiritual survival. So this is why I mentioned early on, why I mentioned the book Unmasking Fear. I think that's going to be a great help to anybody who's listening, is Unmasking Fear, because right now there's changes coming. That alone in itself is scary. And there are people whose sole job, they get paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Their sole job is to amplify that fear, is to make you more scared. And of course, they'll sell you a solution, you know. Or they'll do it just to keep you watching their programs. So, because, I'm so scared. What's going on? What's going on? I'm not saying keep yourself uninformed, but just take it with a grain of salt, because they've been wrong before, as you know. Almost everything they told us about the wonderful little disease that's been going around, almost everything they told us, things that they threw you off social media for saying, are now considered true. So you see, just realize that the people who are holding themselves up as experts oftentimes don't know any more about this than you do. As Will Rogers said during one of his radio shows in 1935, during the depths of the Depression, I don't know any more about this than an economist does. Now, didn't the economists tell us that in December that if inflation would be gone? Remember that? That by December last year, inflation would be gone? Now it's worse than ever. But don't let it scare you. Trust me. These are things that you're going to have to learn to deal with, rather than let them terrify the hell out of you, because then you're going to not function and they're going to steal your life. It's bad enough they're hurting our money, but no, don't let them take your life. Well, that's it. I'll see you again next week at the same time here on the Ask One Radio Network. And remember, time flies. It's up to you to be the navigator. Bye-bye now.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome. Time for the Psychic Side with John Capello. John Capello. Live from JohnCapello.com. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio. Or one of our websites, askoneradio.com or moonstruck.tv. This is the Psychic Side on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Psychic Side. We're not supposed to say we or I am, but no, we have to. But the Psychic Side, I'm your host, John Capello. And this is my weekly 15 Minutes of Fame. So I appreciate you joining me today here on the A1R Psychic Radio Network, Moonstruck TV, and a bunch of other places that I have a list, but it would take me 15 minutes to say it, so I won't. But today, my topic is about dreams. And I mentioned all those different places that this program is seen on, so that if you turn it on, you won't think you're having a nightmare, because I show up everywhere. So, but we like to talk about dreams as a part of our clairvoyance. And this month I've been talking a lot about clairvoyance. And the dreams are usually a visual experience. And some people say, "Oh, I never dream. I never see anything in my dreams." Well, you don't remember them. But you can have other types of dreams, from my perspective, feeling dreams. A lot of times people wake up in the morning and they're tired. Well, they may have been in a boxing match or something, or they may have astral projected, or there have been some other things that they just don't remember. But, if you are an avid dreamer, you might keep next to your bed a journal. And maybe even buy a dream dictionary. Go to the bookstore and look at which dream dictionary seems to resonate to you. I know which one resonates to me, but it may not be the one for you. So look for a dream dictionary so that you'll know what these symbols are about that you are are dreaming about, and it may give you some insight. Dreams are such an interesting topic, and from a psychic's perspective, they may be a little bit different than what a clinician might say, but hopefully the two would come together at some point in time. And so for me, the dreams are a safe place for the soul's consciousness to work on things. And from my perspective, once again, I call dreams the soul's therapy. And it's where outrageous situations can arise and consequences are solved just by waking up. And the most horrible things that can present themselves can just go away when we are dreaming, when we awake from a dream. And the thing is that we can learn so much from our dreams if we just take the time to learn to analyze them and learn to get that insight from beyond the physical, from the metaphysical side. But I wanted to tell you that a lot of times the way we dream, it's some of it's based on our personality, and you can kind of get an idea of your personality by your sleep position. So you may have heard this before, but a log sleeper is someone that has I wrote it down here. The log position is a sociable person that likes to run with the crowd. People who sleep in this position need to be mindful that they can be gullible. So if you just kind of sleep in that log position and you don't move, those are the types of people that have that type of personality. And we'll talk about the dreams here in just a moment. But if you sleep on your left side, which a lot of people do, they're the yearned sleepers. These people have an open nature, but have a tendency to be sometimes narrow-minded and a little stubborn. So you may have dreams that help you deal with your personality or deal with your perspective of life. And then you have the soldier sleeper. They sleep on their backs. These people are quiet and reserved. They have high standards, and they try to live by them. And then you have the free faller. The free faller are people that they tend to sleep on their stomach, and sometimes they have a little bit of issues with being arrogant, or they can be sensitive to criticism, so they can be a little self-centered. And then you have another type of sleeper called a starfish sleeper, and these people, they sleep on their backs and their arms kind of up around their heads like that. And these are people that are used to being in the limelight, and they can be the center of attention if they need to. They're sometimes the creative people. Some creative types like to sleep that way. But the reason why I bring that up is because if you're a creative type, you may, for instance, be working on issues which deal with those areas of your creativity. And now every person has a certain types of different types of dreams, and these dreams are very revealing as well, because you can have dreams of being chased. You can have dreams of being a prophetic dream. You can have a daydream. You can have a lucid dream. You can have a dream with just symbols, and that's why I say you might want to get that dream dictionary. You can have a visitation from someone from the other side. You can have a recurring dream, a healing dream, that nightmare I talked about, a psychic or prophetic dream, or a dream you might not have heard a lot about, which is a targeted dream. So I'd be interested if you've ever heard of a targeted dream. So when you go to bed, you might want to keep that journal nearby, so that you can write down some of these things so that when you're in one of those dreams, you may notice some certain actions that go on with them. And one of those is being naked, being chased, being tested, dreams that have teeth in them, a falling or flying dream. Each of these dreams has something that's special for you. But what you have to do is you have to determine the situation. You have to determine, for instance, a falling dream often means that there's a lack of confidence that you're feeling. You don't feel like you're in control in your life. Sometimes you're falling off a cliff, or sometimes you're falling down the stairs or whatever, and it feels like you're just not in control. So what you may want to do is you may want to look to see what areas of your life do you not feel in control, and that's a message to you from the universe. Your soul is capturing that energy from the universe and letting you know that that's something for you to work on. And then you have those dreams where you feel like you're flying. You have that confidence, you have that tremendous sense that you're soaring high. And this might be a time when you are doing well at work, or you and your spouse may be getting along very, very well, or you just got that raise at work, and this is a positive time for you. So for you to feel confident, and you may see yourself flying, you may see yourself falling, and all of those things are going to stay in your mind. And when you write those things down in your journal, you've got to be able to notice that emotion that goes along with the sensation, especially when in different parts of the dream, because you may encounter a certain person, or you may encounter a certain situation. And when you do, there may be a heightened sense of an emotion, whether it's fear or anger or love or apprehension, whatever. And that just gives you those areas or those clues that you have to work on certain things. Now, when you have a dream that you're feeling chased, when you are feeling like you have a predator, or you have a problem that's coming around you, you have to look and see how far that predator is from you. And if you want to also maybe look at a tornado, if a tornado is way out into the distance, then it means that there could be problems coming, but you got a lot of time where you can work on it and get ready for it. So if it looks like it's only maybe 50 yards or 100 yards away, well then, yeah, you still got some time for you to work on things to make a situation better. Now, if that tornado or that lion is on top of you, well, then it means that you've got some issues around you that you have to deal with immediately, okay? And those are dreams to pay attention to. And this is a possibility that you need to encounter. Now, the dreams about teeth, sometimes it means there's a death that's around you, but a lot of times it means that you're worried about your appearance, you see. These dreams are common dreams. They are dreams that you may need to look at, especially if there are recurring dreams. If it's a recurring dream, it's a dream that means that you haven't solved an issue that you need to solve. It's kind of like the Bill Murray movie with Groundhog's Day. So there's a lot to be discussed about dreams. You can do so. Read my book, Soul Exercises for the Open Mind, which will give you more tips about it. But it's all part of that clairvoyant family, that family of ideas or family of things that you can study and find out where your strengths are. So that's what I always like for people to do. Now, we're going to come back next week. We're going to start a discussion about clairaudience. I'm going to see if we can't open things up for a caller, just one caller, and we'll spend a couple of minutes with a caller, and then we'll start talking about clairaudience. But I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be in Abilene this weekend, and I hope that you will be back next week with me. Please go to Miracles of Joy. They're our sponsor, and use promo code PS-0223. Somebody used it last week, so thanks. And so I appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing you next week here on the Psychic Side with John Capello. Take care, and I look forward to being with you very soon. Bye-bye.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome.
Time for Your Time to Shine with Julie Yeager-Walker. Live from Wings of Souls with Julie.com.
Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/psychic radio. Or one of our websites, askoneradio.com or moonstruck.tv.
This is Your Time to Shine
on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Your Time to Shine, a radio show designed to help you explore your own divine gifts. How are you this evening? I hope you are all doing well. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. Always enjoy having you here. So, I was wondering how many of you actually sit inside your head a lot. I am a person who is in my head rattling around a lot. I've always been that way. I've always been a deep thinker. And for those of us who are those types of people, the deep thinkers, the people that have a tendency to rattle around in our head, it's sometimes really hard for us to get out of our head. And as you know, or maybe you don't, but for those of you who are the deep thinker that sit inside of your head, there are a lot of times that you overthink everything. Oh man, I am definitely an overthinker when it comes to many aspects of my life. And so, trying to get out of my head is the toughest thing to do. So, I've had to train myself to get out of my head. And that's the first step of doing that is being an awareness, right? Dropping down into your heart, and so that you can see things differently. You can see things from a different perspective, maybe a calmer, more centered perspective, right? So I find a lot of times when I have a lot of things going on, or maybe there's some stress in my life, I'm sitting up in my head, rattling around, trying to figure them out, trying to decide what to do, right? Kind of blocking out my guidance, so to speak. And so I have to get into that awareness of, okay, wait a minute, I'm just making things worse here in some instances. And so taking that moment to really get out of your head and into your heart, because that changes the perspective. So when you come from decisions of the heart, right, they are more in alignment with who you are. They are more in alignment and centered around your soul, your soul's purpose and your path, right? And it also just brings definitely more calm and ease. And when you can get out of your head and into your heart, you actually stop and go, wait a minute, okay, this decision feels really good. The things that were bothering me don't seem quite as bad. And another reason is when you're in your heart, you're in the now, right? When you are in your head, you're rattling around in the past, you're thinking about your future, you're trying to do a million things at once, and it can get very overwhelming. And so when you find yourself into that situation, drop down into your heart and then look at the situation and see if it looks any different. So what do I mean dropping down into your heart? Well, a good way that I like to do this, I'm a very visual person. So I imagine myself in my head, literally in my head, rattling around. I'm looking around, there is a wood floor on the floor, the walls all around me. And then I imagine myself seeing an elevator, And then I go over to the elevator, I push the button and I go inside, and then push the button to go down, and I drop down, and I just imagine myself going down past my eyes and my nose and my lips and my chin, through my throat and down into my chest. And then when I open up into my heart, for me, my Zen place is a beautiful open meadow. And I open up the doors and I'm walking out into this beautiful meadow, and I can hear the birds sing. I can see the butterflies. I can feel the breeze. I can hear the breeze, right? And it instantly just puts me in a calm state where I can think, where I can just be and be in the moment, right? Now, your meadow may actually look quite different, right? You could be at the beach. Maybe you are in a hot air balloon. Whatever that is for you, it's going to be perfect. But finding that space and finding that place and that Zen space, and then asking yourself, when you've been in that moment, right? Then ask yourself about all those things that you were thinking about in your head, right? How do they feel now? And you will just feel the difference. You will sense the difference. You will know the difference, right? It will just feel different to you. It'll feel calmer, more peaceful, even more manageable, right? If you were feeling really overwhelmed, you're going to be like, okay, I can do this now. I can handle this, right? This visualization can be very, very powerful. And it is essentially a short meditation is what it really is. And being in that space of just in the now and not thinking about anything else, but being in the now. So when we can be in that space of the now, then we can actually think clearer. We can get messages from our angels and our guides, right? When we are fully present, we can feel, sense, hear, imagine anything. And that is the beauty of it. The beauty of getting out of your head and into your heart, so that you know that you can make the right decisions, the best decisions in your highest and best in the present moment of now. So I encourage you to try it. Again, the biggest thing is when you're rattling around in your head and you're getting stressed, it's about getting into that awareness and saying, okay, I need to just take 5 minutes. That's all it takes. 5 minutes, maybe a little less, to just get into that space and place where you can drop down into your heart and get centered. And then look for the answers that your heart has been trying to tell you. All right, I hope that helps. Try it out. It is a great practice. And for some, it is going to take a little bit of practice. If you can't get there on your first try, that's okay. Keep working at it, because you will get there. And eventually your unconscious mind, your higher self, is going to just automatically take you there when you need to go, when you need to be in that space, and just ask for it and let it happen. All right, perfect. We've got a caller waiting for us right now. We have Stephanie in Texas. Good evening, Stephanie, and welcome to Your Time to Shine.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What can I help you with tonight?
I just want to see if there's any messages for me, like from loved ones or my guides.
Okay, perfect. Stephanie, I'm just going to tune in here for just a minute. And while I do so, there's going to be a little moment of silence, and then I'll be right back with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Stephanie. Um, it was really interesting. There is definitely a higher power speaking to you this evening. Um, I'm I'm getting we've been waiting for you and you have finally arrived. Um, arrived at that space and that place that you have been trying to achieve. Um, have you been on a spiritual path or opening up to more spirituality?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're saying that you have arrived, you have made it. Um, and so to celebrate that, you may not feel that. You may feel like, oh, I have a long ways to go. But they're wanting you to take notice of that, take note at how far you've come and all the obstacles that you have overcome to get to the place that you're at right now.
Okay.
Let me see what else they have to say. Um, what they're showing me is that you've kind of hit a fork or a kind of like a crossroad. And you're trying to make the decision, the best decision for you, on which way that you're to go. And they're basically saying that either way you go is going to be fine. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choosing and what sings to you and what makes your heart happy. Does that make sense?
Well, I've been trying to like kind of leave it to them and I've been asking for like their guidance of, because I just lost my husband a few months ago and like I've had a hard life for a long time and it's been really bad. And I'm trying to trust in them to lead me where I'm going to go next to make things better. So right now I'm kind of leaving it at trying to wait for my answers because I don't know what to do.
Right. So when you say you're trying to figure out what path to take, is there a certain path that you're looking at specifically in your life right now?
Oh, well, yeah, I have 2 kids and we're kind of like financially not that great and we need to find a home really soon and no transportation, stuff like that. So I need to know like things are going to be okay for us.
So what I'm being shown right now is that they're working on a place for you guys to live. All right. They're working in the background on that. I'm being shown that they've been leading you towards a particular part of town, somewhere that would be easy for you to be able to get around without having transportation. And so they've been kind of leading you towards that side of town for the convenience and for the ease, to kind of help with that. Do you find that you keep looking in the same parts of town?
Well, right now I don't know how I'm financially going to afford anything at this point. I moved to a new smaller town, but like there's a town like close by that's like near everything, and I'm thinking that's where we're going to end up. I
Yeah.
just don't know how I'm going to afford it yet.
Right. So they're definitely moving you into a part where you can, like I said, you can get around easily. Hang on. So what they're showing me right now is there are people or friends or family in support that can help you, support you during this time, and that to be open to that receiving. Okay. Just until you can get to that space, get to your own place, right? There is there's that support that's being handed to you. And so they're saying make sure that you don't just dismiss that as, oh, I can, I'm fine, I can do it on my own. They're saying take this opportunity and lean into that support until you can find that place, for your family to live, because it's just they're showing me like there's just a really short amount of time that they are working this for you, and within probably the next couple of months, I feel you're going to be finding something that you're going to be able to move into.
As far as the friends and family, I don't have that right now. It's gonna come. It's just me.
Okay. Is that because you've moved to a different part of town, or you've moved into a smaller town?
No, I just moved somewhere that I was able to afford at the time.
Okay.
I don't I don't have any friends. I don't have any family that is like that.
Okay. They're showing me that they're giving you that support, that they're giving you that support channel. So be open to looking for that, because they said that they are going to be they're offering that to you. You may not know what that looks like right now, but it's coming through for you. Okay. You have a lot of support on the other side, a lot of guidance, and they're just saying keep following your guidance.
So if you know what I'm doing, maybe okay.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
I said I'm pretty much doing what I'm doing. That's gonna be okay.
So I think you said that you're just asking if you all are going to be okay. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yes, you are. You're very well protected. This new place that you're going to be going to, this new town is going to give you that shift and that change that you're going to need for your family. It's going to give you that little bit of nudge, that you need, but it's definitely going to be supportive.
Okay.
You're going to find a better network of people there, that are going to be able to support you as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're so very welcome. Have a wonderful evening. Next, we have Melissa in Arkansas. Good evening, Melissa, and welcome to Your Time to Shine.
Thank you. I hope this phone holds out. We're having some issues here on this end, I believe.
Oh, no. Well, what can I do for you this evening?
Well, I'm not sure what all do you do, sweetheart. What all do you offer? What readings or whatever?
Yeah, I can give you a general reading, or if you have a question, I can dig into that for you.
Okay, just general, honey, would be fine.
Okay. I'm going to just tap in here real quickly, and as I do, there's going to just be a little moment of silence, and then I'll be right back with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Melissa, wow. Okay, so um, what they're wanting you to know is that you are such a magnet. You are such a magnet of goodness and beautiful energy within inside of you. And everywhere you go, you spread that around. And it's like I'm being shown like these flowers, they're just popping up all around you. It's like all the seeds that you've planted, all the opportunities that you've planted and asked the universe, they're like popping up all around you. And it's like I'm hearing the world of opportunity is here. And so all of the things that you've been asking for, the universe is saying, yes, here it is. Are you ready for them?
Awesome.
They're saying don't ever lose that amazing magnetic energy that you have, because you shine bright for so many people that you don't even realize it. And so they're just saying, just keep on shining. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, isn't that nice?
You've been asking for some shifts and some changes in your life, and they said that they are coming through with that those
Right.
things are shifting and changing for you. What is it that you do for work?
I'm subcontract for a medical center here.
Okay. I was picking up
But I have done home health.
Okay, I was picking up some medical. Are you looking at switching jobs?
No, ma'am. Actually, I have just become disabled.
Okay. Because they were showing me a shift. They were showing me a shift within that part of it. It's like a shift. It's like a shift for you to do something different within your life. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have a disability hearing coming up, so maybe that's,
Oh.
pertaining to that. That would be great.
Okay. I keep hearing you're going to be taken care of.
Great.
That all is well.
Can't get
So
no better than that, can it?
yeah, so within that they're saying, have faith. Have faith of what is coming forward for you and what is being brought forward to you. So they said there's been a lot of challenges and they recognize that, but they're shifting all that for you now so that you can be in a different space and place.
Great.
I'm giggling to myself because I can hear a cartoon character come in and say, here I am to save the day. Your guides
We're
have a
quite
sense of
comical
humor.
bunch, so I can understand that.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse. That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, you have some comedians on your side. They're there to remind you to laugh, okay? Remind you to find that child within yourself. And,
I've always said without laughter, you have nothing. So
yeah,
gotta laugh at things and go on.
yeah, and give that child, that inner child of yours, a big hug and give her reasons to laugh and to bring that joy in. Because again, that's all part of your magnetism, right? Is being able to bring in that laughter and that joy to others. And so never forgetting to do that. Yeah, they're saying that's like the biggest part of you, is bringing that laughter and that joy. So they're showing me that in your work, in your line of work, that you used to make people laugh all the time, like full on hearty laughs. And so that was your gift, right? That was your gift to bring that inner child for somebody else to come through.
Yeah.
And
they had
give
nothing
them that.
to laugh at.
Yes. And give them that piece of joy and just for that moment, just even that little bit of safety and security. Okay.
Right.
So this is all coming full circle for you, that safety and the security of it all. So
right.
Just remember to have faith. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That is just awesome. That was great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Melissa, we're coming down to the last few seconds of our show, so I need to say good night, but I hope this has been helpful, and I wish you all of the best.
Thank you, honey, and good night to you.
Okay. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that does it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. You can reach me over on my webpage at wingsofsoulswithjulie.com. I'm scheduling out into April right now for readings and group readings, or you can reach me over on my Facebook pages at Julie Yeager Walker Medium or Your Time to Shine. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
You're listening to A1R Psychic Radio, Earth's #1 psychic radio network, and watching Moonstruck TV, Enlightening Television. Welcome. Time for astrology and psychic readings with Lady D. Lady D. Live from Lady D's PsychicParties.com. Connect direct. In North America, dial 888-454-2751. In London, 20-3519-2158. In Sydney, dial 02-8488-3147. Or online, contact us through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Psychic Radio. Or one of our websites, askoneradio.com or moonstruck.tv. This is Astrology and Psychic Reading on A1R, the Ask One Radio Network.
Hi everybody, welcome to Astrology and Psychic Readings by Lady D. So I'm your host for this half an hour, Lady D. Hope you've all had a splendid a week. I know I couldn't make it last week. I was busy. I also make cakes, and I was busy with my cake from my competition that I do, which is very, very exciting. So we've got a busy week coming up ahead with the planets. There's a lot that's coming up this week. And today especially, we have a conjunction between Venus and Uranus today. And it can be, and you can flow over to tomorrow. So what that brings up is unexpected with finances, money, as well as relationships. So with this transit can bring anything up. So it can bring up people from the past can come back. People who you haven't heard of in ages can pop up here. People, it could even be about someone, the person you thought was your friend could, unexpectedly, not be your friend. There's anything unexpected can happen. And even with finances, this could be getting an do job unexpectedly, a bonus. It could also be added expenses, unexpected expenses coming in. Could be that I ordered last night, I ordered something earlier in the week. And I got an email last night saying that it's unavailable and that I have to choose to get like a refund or choose something else. So that was unexpected. That place that I ordered from is pretty certain, and it pretty comes within a day or two. So that's what was in how it worked in my life with that transit. So it's just unexpected with relationships and finance, and that's coming in today as well to flow over in tomorrow. We've also got Mars, which is going to trine Saturn, which will be, it's also sort of happening today, but it's also going into next week as well. With that, I feel like it's about, I feel like it's going to give a sort of relief. I feel like it's going to give more clarity, more certainty where you're going. And it's like, you know where like everything is. Like I feel like it's going to give everyone a sense of clarity or the vision of where they're heading and where they're going. I feel like it's going to be not a time for stubbornness, but just motivation, activation, and to go. We've got the full moon that is happening on Thursday, the 6th of April. So that's for me, and that is 2:34 p.m. And that's going to be opposite Chiron with that full moon that's coming in. It's in Libra. So the full moon in Libra, that's going to be about relationships. It's going to be about have I got everything equal. I feel like it's about relationships, meaning like trust. It's creating a balance. It's also about whose side are you on? I feel like taking sides. It's wanting, I feel like it's maybe taking too much on. So it's like wanting to please people. When we're dealing with Libran energy, we want to please everybody. We want to be able to do everything for everyone. We want to please everybody, but we also want to fight for justice. But it's like we're hard to say no with Librans because they want to please you. So it's hard for them to say no. So you might find with this full moon energy that comes in that it's hard for you to say no to things that you want to take on, but you take too much on. Let's say to fight for justice and law and order. It also could be I feel like it's going to be emotional relief with this. As my cat just come to join us, she's on the windowsill there. And I've got another cat behind me who's asleep. But so I feel like it's like a spell has been lifted. The energy is going to feel like your emotionally relief. Some relief for this here. With that aspect to Chiron, I feel like that's going to bring over more of a sort of a worry, and that also added to the pressure of taking more things on and taking more than you actually need. I feel like that's what the aspect's going to bring. And it could even be opening up sort of old wounds from the past to do with relationships too, or where something hasn't given you justice in the past, that those emotions or those memories may come back to you with this full moon. We've also got here, there also could be unstableness with money, this especially with that Uranus with the Venus transit, with currencies around the world. You might find some shock and surprises with that. What else? We've also got the Mercury is going to conjunct on the 6th with the node. The node is a life lesson. So with this conjuncting it, it's going to bring about life lessons to do with communication, also the way we think as well. So this will be in Taurus. So there might be a bit of a stubbornness about this. When we got Tauruses here, we got tunnel vision. So you might be sort of going down a rabbit hole, or that try and look things through a different way, but you're stuck in that one point of view and you can't seem to get out of it. I feel like you might be feeling a bit slow into comebacks, because we've got Taurus here, Mercury, which has moved into Taurus now, and it'll be there for a while, because we've also got a retrograde coming up with Mercury. So in Mercury in Taurus, it can be quite stubbornness, because it's like the way we think. We're stuck down that one view, that rabbit hole, that tunnel vision here. But we also want to be very comfortable in how we communicate as well. We also want to be comfortable. When looking at Tauruses, they like to be comfortable too. And we're also dealing with money. So perhaps we're going to be thinking about our finances, our money, our securities, our environment. Are we feeling safe? Do we have enough to live off? Are we going to get enough money to come in? Are things going to change? Should I do something else? Should I change my job? These things are going to come up with this Mercury coming into Taurus. Because Taurus also rules the second house, which is about earnings. It's also about your self-worth. So this also might bring up your desires and feelings about your self-worth, and how you feel about yourself and your confidence and how high it is. So it's going to bring up all these issues here. But with this node, there's some sort of a destiny point or like life lesson here that you're going to have, and it can be to do with money, it can be to do with your environment, it can be about your security. It's how you feel. So what I've also got for this week that's coming up, I got people are wanting justice fast. So when things happen, people want a resolution and they want justice fast. Got here, take your time with projects this week. I feel like enjoy part of Taurus energy that we have here. Taurus is there, not as it's not as a fast moving star sign. When you get into like Aries, like they want it now. They're very fast, get motivated. When we think of Mars being very active, Taurus is more like laid, but they want to take their time. They're a team player. They want to get things done. So take your time with projects. Got here, think before you speak. This even could come up with this Mercury conjunct the node. You may, not think and be like a motor mouth and just say something and put your foot in it. So just take your time before you speak. Try and think before you speak to make sure you get what you want to say right. And I know sometimes that can be hard. Try not to judge people out loud. So I feel like if you're a person that, we all have thoughts in our head and we can't change that. Everyone has thoughts. And when we see people, we all instantly have judgments. But I feel like there could be outbursts of communication. So I feel like try to, again, think before we speak and not say things out loud that we shouldn't say. But yeah, finding joy in what you do, make sure what you do, and I feel like this is to do with like work, finding some sort of element of fun if you can in what you do for work, or any sort of projects that you're doing, to try and just do it in a fun way, or try and find something fun to do with that. I got soul searching, about finding yourself. People sometimes feel like they're lost and they're on the wrong track, but you're always on the right track. It's just things that come up. We always need lessons to learn. There's always something for us to learn. I got here, people Chinese whispers. So I feel like there could be gossip, Chinese whispers going around, getting the wrong information, perhaps even coming out here. So it's careful. So, and then I've also got that people are worried about finances, about money this week. So I feel like you're going to hear more news and sort of like global currencies coming up, and people might be, a bit worried, or even like a influx of expenses coming in, and it can make you really, really frazzled when you get these, um, extra unexpected bills or things coming up. It can be really, and it can put you sort of out of whack. I just this week I had to get my car serviced, and I knew I had to get the brakes done, and so I put a bit of extra money away thinking it would be enough. And then when they quoted me how much the brakes cost, it was like way more than what I'd put aside for. So I had to then get more money and put it in and pay it off, because you've got to get something like the brakes has to be done. So these unexpected finances can come up, and it can really stress you out. So that's just be aware. But I feel like there's always a solution. Where there's a will, I always say, where there's a will, there's a way. So I always say, you have to, even for myself, you have to just breathe and think. I'm a bit of a quick thinker myself, so I just think, okay, what can I do? I've got this on, that on, I'll be okay. And I was okay. So let's go to the first caller here. So we've got Christina, who's in Virginia in America. Shania. So hi, Shania. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. How can I help you today?
I just wanted like a clarification, like on like a, I guess like a situation I'm in, it's kind of like a friendship, but it's becoming more, but I don't know because I'm confused.
Okay. All right. So I'm hearing that you want more, but on the other side, for him, it could be a little bit different. Is that correct? So that you're the one that wants more?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. But at the same time, I feel like this man wants a bit of control here, because I feel like he wants control, but you also just want to know where you stand, but you also want love and you want compassion, and you need him to start understanding you better, I feel, too. Because I feel like he's not listening to you, um, because it's like it's his way. It's like this is what I want. This is my road. This is what I want, and it's like my way. That's coming up here. So let me have a look and see. It's almost like you're feeling a little bit trapped with this. What's gonna happen? Look, I feel like I get a 3, whether this is 3 weeks or 3 months, but I get a 3 where a decision has to be made in this relationship, where it's like a make or break. Like, am I going to stay or am I going to go? I feel like I say there's always no wrong decisions. It's just whatever's coming into your path. But I kind of feel like with this man, it's like he's up and down a yo-yo. He's It's like he doesn't see you. So he wants, like I feel like this man knows what he wants, but he's not telling you everything, because he's making you feel one way, but then like signs say another way is what I feel like. He has 2 different ways that he's being, and this is what's making you feel really mixed up emotionally. I feel like you're going to have to be very creative with this person, but I'm going to say after the 3 weeks, it's like make or break. I feel like you're going to want more, because you're being stubborn to you're wanting more. But this card is really standing out to me. When I see this card, I always see it like we're moving on to something better. So I do feel like whatever happens in this situation, there is something better coming along for you, because I feel like after the 3 weeks, he may tell you what he wants. You may not like what he says, but whatever he says, just know, and whatever happens, just know that there is something better coming for you. Because I feel like this card's really standing out to me, and I feel like that's going to be coming up in 4. So this could be in 4 weeks or 4 months where this comes up, where you're moving on to something better, to something that's going to be solid ground. And that's where the creativeness is going to come in. I feel like there's whether it's this man or not, or someone else, but he's going to treat you like a lady. And I feel like there's some sort of like, maybe like things with sunsets here, like walking in the sunset or seeing the sunset. There's something about sunsets with this person too. Um, Okay. So I feel like where you are now, it's also like you're surrounded by people who you don't know who to trust as well with this. This card, I feel like this is you now. It's like you don't know who to trust and you're really trying to juggle things up in the air. You need to trust yourself and what's in your own heart. That's what I'm hearing. Um, but he also like that there's fighting here too. So I feel like this person may also there's a bit of fighting. I feel like also there's finances here. Like I feel like maybe he buys you things, or there's finances with the current person too. I just feel like you need to take your time. You know the answer or what's gonna. I feel like you already sort of know where this relationship's heading, and it's like you're scared to ask. But I feel like with the three, you know where you stand. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? Look, this is a contract, so I feel like with this person, this is a this is a contract. So, um, whatever the length the time I'm meant to be with this person, you're meant to meet him, because there's a lesson here for you to learn with him. I feel like the part of the lesson is for you to learn to be patient and I'm sure you are understanding, but I feel like you've had to sort of this is like testing your patience and you're really trying to be very understanding and accommodating to this man. And I feel like that's part of this journey of this relationship that you're in with him and part of the lessons why you've had to be with this person. But it's going to come a time, it's also about you evolving. So I feel like with this relationship, you're evolving. And sometimes when we evolve, we we end up outgrowing people. So it could be a point where you outgrow this person. Because I feel like even though I see him as a strong, uh, independent male, I feel like as well there's part of him that's like a little kid, almost like a we say here like a brat. So someone who they don't get their own way, they sort of throw a tantrum. So they sort of throw a bit of a fit or um, I'm not sure if you guys use the same language, the same words. I don't know how you would say it, but just if they don't get their own way, oh yes, good. But I want to say after the four that I keep on seeing, I do feel like you're going to find love, and I do feel like you're going to be in a better situation. But that's four. So 4 weeks or 4 months there that I feel like that's going to come on. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, because I have been seeing 444 and like red cardinals a lot. And
Yeah.
I've also seen like blue jays with a red cardinal. And I was like, whoa, I've never seen this happen before. So since you like told me that, I kind of feel, I understand and I'm not, going crazy.
No, the sign we see things for a reason. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, when I see falls, I always get worried because to me falls are not good. But in this case for you, I feel like yeah, it's a sign for four. Like, yeah, I said 4 weeks or 4 months, but I do feel like you're in a better situation. But yeah, when we see things, always take it on board because it always means something. It's just when it stands out at you. And I do feel like it does mean something. It's okay. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
All right, let's go to the next caller. So we have here Harold, who's in is a bit Maine. He's in Maine in America. Hello, how are you, Harold? Uh, so Harold's just off. We're just getting back on the line. So yeah, so that's the thing with numbers and symbols. For me, I see a lot of like numbers. So when I see, for instance, I said four to me is not a pos. For me, it's not positive. One's is new beginning. I feel like two is to do with relationships. I feel like three is fun. As I said, four to me is not positive. Five can be change. It also can be travel. Six is family, and I know I'm going to get really busy. Seven for me is spirit, and eight for me is money. And I said to my guides because I'd see fours, and I said to them, now if it's something bad, just I have to see three falls or more. So all together. So that's when I look. So if I know if I see 2 4s, it's okay. If I see 1 4, it's okay. If I start seeing 3 4s or 4 4s, that's when I know, like, oh dear, this is not gonna, something's gonna happen. And usually something does happen in hiccups, you know. It's like I always sort of, I fear the worst, so that when something happens and I can be like, I can breathe now. Even my astrology, I've been having Saturn over my sun lately. Because Saturn, the planet of problems, and when it hits your sun, it's like there. So I always sort of sort of fearful that these big waves are going to come, and things have been happening, but it's so far it's been things that, and I can always handle you, whatever comes in your way, whatever spirit brings to you, you can always handle it, because we're always here to learn lessons. And if you couldn't handle it, that problem wouldn't be coming into your life or into your path. So that's something to remember as well. But also with the signs, sometimes if I see numbers mixed up will mean something to me now. It's like with spirit, you get one thing and you're comfortable with it, and they're going to change it up or to give you more. So, so for instance, if I see a lot of 8s and 7s, so I know that that's spiritual work for me coming in, and I'm going to do a lot of spiritual work with that. Okay, so let's go. We've got a new caller now. So we've got here Kelly, who's in Cape Carroll, Florida. So hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So how can I help you today?
My birthday was last week, and I just want to know kind of what's going to be coming up for my new year of everything, like what's going to happen this year for me.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of general stuff.
So what's your is it raining there by any chance where you are? Hello? Okay. Okay, so let's see where we go. Just get some cards out for Kelly. Let's see. But yeah, I know if I see 4s and if I see 8s and 7s together, that means that I'm going to be doing a lot of spiritual work, which is good. I love doing my spiritual work, and it's like my main job that I do now. So it's amazing, and I love this work that I do. And I love to be able to help people, and I meet different people. And even if I do my readings around the world, I love talking to people about about how they live. I find it very interesting. Okay, hi Kelly, how are you?
Hi, sorry, somehow we got disconnected. Okay.
That's okay. Is it raining there by any chance where you are?
No, it's not raining where I am.
Oh, okay. Just feel like I'm hearing it's raining. It's raining, and it's sunny where I am. It's sunny where I am. All right. So I'm gonna say, what's your birth? So what is your birthday? So what's your month and day and month?
March 23rd.
So 21st of March. I don't think we do it the other way around. Okay, so 23rd plus that's 24. And we want to be in where we are even. So that's 25, and we're plussing the what's the our year at the moment. We're in 2023, aren't we? So
yes.
2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. 7. So we want 2 and a 5, which is 8 plus 7. So let's see, 8 plus 7. Okay, it's 15. 4. So you're in year 4. So year 4 is about look, it can be hard work, year 4, when you're in year 4. It's like you get rewarded. It's like the year before is a third year, which is more, it's a happier year, it's more fun. So it prepares you, you've had fun, and now you're down for hard work when you go to a year 4. And you see, you do get rewarded for it. We get rewarded for it to come, because the next year after that is a year 5, and that's all about change. It also can be about traveling too. So you're gonna have could be very much about hard work. So a lot of work this year. It's gonna come up to you. I also feel like this year, I feel like there's a little bit of anxiety or nervousness around you. So I don't know if you're getting if you're nervous or you get anxiety, but I do feel like I get a little bit of nervous and anxiety in this card as well too. But I feel like it's like you need to hide it. So if you do get that way, you do need to put it you like put it to like keep it in the inside, and on the outside like a poker face, and don't let people see the nerves or the anxiety that you do have, because I feel like people they'll use that, or like they'll sort of twist that. I also feel like there could be love for you this year too. I was getting like hearing the song "Love Is in the Air," and I feel like that's coming in around June, July, even coming into August. I feel like if you don't have a partner, or even could be a child, I just feel like you're closer to someone, but it's like about spending time with them, being closer. Also, I feel like you're having to lend a listening ear to people who are wanting your time, and you feel like so it's going to be some parts, and I feel like again around the same area of the year, June, you're going to be very, very busy, but people are wanting like taking your time away because it's like they want to tell you everything, and you're going to have to be like, I don't have time for this. I've got to go on, because I feel like with the work, it's really going to step up for you this year as well, because there's money to be made and money to be had for you too. At your work, where you're working, I feel like there's a blame game going on too. I feel like there's surrounded by like you're okay. I feel like you're going to be okay in this, but there's people around you. It's like no one wants to take on ownership of if something goes wrong, if they've done something wrong, and a blame game starts happening up with that, and it's like see fingers pointed at people. And you're going to have to, so this is where you're going to have to stand your ground and keep the anxiety in. But I feel like you're going to be okay. It even could be a new contract coming to you for work. There could be even like changes there. So I do see like a new contract that's coming out as well. The big part of this year is just about making sure you do things right. It's like whatever you do, make sure you do it right. And I feel like precise too, and try not to overcomplicate things. Just try and keep things simple as you can. I feel like Christmas is going to be a good celebration on Christmas. I just see like these things going off. I forget what they call it, like party. It's like it looks like a little bottle here, and you pull it, and sort of confetti comes out of it. So I see that, and I feel like it's around Christmas, New Year. So I feel like that's going to be a really exciting time. And I just feel like there's someone, a partnership here, like love around you, like you're happy about this. That's coming. I feel closer to someone too, and I even feel like around children too. I feel like I'm happy and joyous around children as well. And just be more in this year as well. I feel like with you, you're going to be more determined than ever to get what you want done. You're running away from something as well. So like something that's really like, I feel like it's really the anxiety. You're running away from something, but it's better for you in the long run. It's got that. I know that was a really quick reading for you there, Kelly. But I hope I've helped you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
That's okay. And I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
So everybody, thank you. So we had an interesting show today, guys. And this is the thing, Uranus, unexpected Venus with relationships. And we get through it. That's the thing, we get through it, keep pushing through. All right, if you'd like a reading with me, you can. My website is Lady D Psychic Parties, the same as my Facebook page. My Instagram and TikTok is Lady D as Psychic, and my Instagram is Lady D, also Danielle Psychic if you can't find it under that. I put my weekly videos up, and I have predictions on there for what's coming up too. All right, I hope you have a good week ahead. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. So bye for now.